WPHT3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Hey everyone, welcome in post-Christmas, end of the week, Dom Giordano Show. A lot of great stuff today. We announced the winner of the Caller of the Year, which you can access on my Twitter at DomShow1210. Still time to vote. 2 o'clock, we'll announce it at DomShow1210. Go and vote now. All right, I'll tell you how I vote in this scrum going on that's really interesting. I was reading Vivek Ramaswamy yesterday. And, you know, he said things that we've heard before that certainly ring true in some way, shape, or form. And that is you know, in America, we're not pushing kids hard enough in schools, excellence, STEM, those kinds of things. But he pretty much went off the rails. And a lot of people that are conservative or critical, and I'm one of them, Elon Musk jumped in to try to clean this up. He pretty much declared Americans are mediocre. People are calling this one of the most offensive things that I've ever read. Here's what the tension is. There's a guy that President Trump, that is Indian American, appointed to a big, not a cabinet position, but another big governmental position. And this guy is someone who is pro more green cards, HB1 visas, and all that type of stuff. How many times have we talked about this? You know what the root cause is with a lot of these American companies. I believe they don't want to pay Americans what Americans want to make in our society, in our country, and rightfully so. They want to undercut them by importing people who will do it for less. Their argument is, no, these Americans suck. Vivek Ramaswamy seems to be trying to make that point. Now, Elon Musk jumped into the ring. He kind of got caught up in it a little bit. And then he backed himself out by saying, well, you know, the point is it's similar to the NBA bringing in people from Europe and I guess around the world, Jokic and people like that, to play ball. Well, first of all, very few of these European players appeal to me. I don't think they're that good, any number of them. But the NBA is there to win, so they're making decisions that I might differ with on some occasion. Jokic, yeah, is. Does that mean that American players are inferior? No, they still dominate this. So Musk realizes the danger of this. People are angry because this is not America first. And people are saying, Vivek got to go back to the budget cutting and stop insulting Americans. And any number of conservatives have jumped into this. Even Michael Flynn Jr., the son of Michael Flynn, who was high in the first Trump administration. You have people who usually on immigration, illegal immigration, and immigration in general are very strong. And they are pushing back against Vivek Ramaswamy. According to the U.S. Census data, the U.S. has more than 2 times as many American workers with STEM degrees as there are STEM jobs. And many of the STEM jobs that exist go to foreigners because our immigration system allows them to legally be paid less. That's what's operational here. So, look, Vivek Ramaswamy on his feed is very entertaining, very interesting, no doubt. And he made comments about we need fewer sleepovers and more studying late on STEM and all that. All right. You know, the usual type of stuff. And look, we're of two minds about this. I mean, most of us recognize the failures of American public schools by and large, but there are tons of Americans who are incredibly talented and incredibly driven. So this notion that suddenly we can't make it without a big infusion of these people from foreign countries is ludicrous. And I think the premise of President Trump and what he's run on supports that. Now, I have not seen anything. I'll let you know throughout the show if Vivek apologizes or says I was not artful. He certainly wasn't artful. And Musk, jumping in here, was not so good either. I mean, this is the type of thing where we hear it from Democrats. We hear it on lower level jobs. We hear it all the time. If President Trump goes through with his deportation, which he is going to go through with, Tom Homan and others out there again yesterday talking about the budget doesn't matter on this because the cost to America is too great. Well, they say that all the time. Americans are lazy. They won't do these jobs. And we push back on that. So why at the kind of upper level, these Silicon Valley jobs and the like, would I not say the same thing? Well, I'm consistent. I do. I don't care if Vivek Ramaswamy says it or not. It doesn't mean everything he says is correct. This was offensive. Scott Jennings last night on CNN, we'll play it in a little bit, talked about all this nerdy stuff. It seems like Vivek got stuffed into a locker or something at some point. Now, this is insulting. And look, we want to move on with this. We want to get them back in their lanes. We don't want the media. The media likes this because they see a break here in Maga with Vivek versus others. He ought to just say, I didn't mean this by this statement. Here's what I meant. And mainly, I'm going to be focusing on cutting regulations, cutting the spending, etc. Fine. But when I first read this, I thought he was making a reasonable point that we, as Americans, should be taking a look at more of an emphasis, particularly in school, on certain things. But it came across at the end, when you get to the conclusion of all this, that we are talking mainly, though, about why Silicon Valley has to import all these people. And I'm talking about thousands and thousands and thousands, and it's not just Silicon Valley. It's around the world. You can't have it both ways. We can't say we're tired of the suffering we've had due to this immigration, and then at the same time say we're going to jump over Americans. So here's the premise for you on this Friday. Are you in agreement with them? Oh, yeah, we can't compete with these people. Dom, are you kidding me? We have to import them. Again, the NBA basketball analogy is not good. I think the NBA probably has too many European players. I don't like the way they play. Many of them are soft. Many of them are just specialists. There's only a handful. And you need to say across America, these guys by and large are better than American players? No, I don't think so. Why is the NFL not importing people from around the world? You don't see that. So 855-839-1210, do you see Ramaswamy having a point? Again, lecturing Americans on their kids doing better in school, STEM and all, fine. But the bottom line, the punchline on this is they want more of these HB1 visas. I mean, I'm looking on Twitter. Wake Forest, someone had up, was claiming they couldn't find an assistant track coach to compete. Really? I remember a few years ago, there was like a first or second grade classroom here in Philadelphia, a private school, I think it was a private Catholic school, wanting to have to import someone. They couldn't find someone. Well, wait a minute. Why is that? They didn't want to pay. Come on. This is out of step. I got to call this out, and I hope that you do too. And it doesn't mean this is a unforgivable rift. There's a lot with Vivek Ramaswamy, obviously, that is skilled and we like. Get to cutting the budget, getting to doing all that. Let's move away from that. Let's not continue to go down this path. It doesn't make any sense. All right, something that doesn't make any sense, but I think they're going to do it anyhow, and I'll tell you the silver lining. The Hill the last couple days, The Hill, the website, Dom Giordano Show, says that Congress has the power to block Trump from taking office, but lawmakers must act now. That, what they're talking about, is the January 6th voting, as we saw in 2020, and they want to get Trump again under the insurrectionist part of the Constitution They say the Constitution provides an oath-breaking insurrectionist is ineligible to be president. This is the plain wording of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. This is ridiculous. It's not going to fly. They're not going to be able to do it, but I believe maybe even double figures of Democrats might vote for this. Now, how can it be insurrection when you're not even charged with insurrection, let alone proven insurrection? That's preposterous. We all know that. What would the good be of 10 of them or so voting on this manner, going down this path? Well, again, we would be able to make the point again and again and again that when said denial of an election comes up, that Democrats have done it before, and here they're plotting to do it again. That Jamie Raskin, the guy from Maryland, seems to be one of the constitutional scholars involved with this. So we'll see if they actually do that. I would predict that they will do that in some way, shape, or form. Maybe double figures will be reached. They will not have enough in order to get it over the top, but they are going to try to do it. One other item, then I'll give you the side question, and away we go. Philadelphia juries last year awarded more than $3.3 billion in verdicts in 2024. And I'm looking at the Inquirer today. They give the largest 5, of course, going against, I've often said you have a better chance if you are on trial in Philadelphia as a criminal killer. Jury's more sympathetic than if you're a business person. And I've seen them in any way, shape, or form try to get the coverage of a case to be in Philadelphia come hell or high water. Right? That's what I'm talking about. $3.3 billion. 5 big cases that had just about the most of that. That's what we've seen here. All right, so we'll keep that under advisement. But coming up, side question today. 51 years ago, yesterday, December 26th, The Exorcist debuted, a cultural phenomenon. I'm looking at this article on Twitter. And one of my all-time favorite movie scenes is the scene where Father Damien has finally had it with the devil and determines that he's going to take on the devil. Come into me. And the devil, in the scene, if you remember, we'll play it for you, is trying to urge him to kill now Reagan, the girl, the young girl, and he has none of that and throws himself out in order to avoid that and apparently taking the devil with him. It is an unbelievable scene. So I want you today to give us a movie scene, and if you want to do a little bit of it, a few lines, that would be great, but, tell us in detail that scene. Explain. Just don't call and blurt. Say this movie scene and this scene, not the whole movie, a particular scene, though. There in any great movie, there are 1 or 2 scenes. Even The Godfather, there's 1 or 2 scenes, though, that really, really move you. That's what we're looking for. Give us that scene in a film that you think does that job effectively. That's what we're looking for. You do that at 855-839-1210, AT&T, and Verizon Wireless. All that you have to do is just push pound 1210 and get into this Vivek Ramaswamy and a bit Elon Musk. He was more cautious. Do they have it right? Or is this the type of thing that anybody who has supported what President Trump has run on, America first, Americans first, why are we saying this about America? Well, because it's true, Dom. Is it? I give you the statistics. We've got to stop it already. How is it that America is so behind these other countries, these geniuses and all, and yet we dominate the world? It's the greatest nation in the history of the world. Yeah, I agree with that, but Americans suck. 2 things can't be. Now, look, we have any number of people, I get it, that are not pulling their weight, doing it. We get all that. But still, the core of America must be doing something right. We have to be here. Otherwise, we wouldn't be producing what we produce. Yes, there is some immigration. Yes, I know all that. But at its core, These are people born in America by and large, Americans. 855-839-1210. By the way, don't forget to vote, too, at this point. Just go to at Dom Show 1210, at Dom Show 1210. Last couple of hours at 2 o'clock today, we'll announce the winner of the 2024 Caller of the Year. Earl of Tacony was the 2023. He'll take the green Masters jacket and hand it off. He declined to run this year due to a lot of factors, and it was noble that he did that. We've had some great races here, some great contenders. We're down to Scott of Mount Laurel and Joe, who really has beaten some of the biggies here, Joe of Columbus. Scott was second last year. But Joe of Columbus did not have an easy pathway to get to the final. And he did spectacularly against some of the Joe of Extons, Robert of Ben Sale. I mean, he did really, really well. People like him. We like his calls, without a doubt. Still time to vote, though. I'd like to see this be nip and tuck, as I call it, around 155 or so. You can get in with that. 855-839-1210. That's how you deal with it. Coming up, Cherry Hill Mall does something smart. They enforce a parental supervision policy just for the day after Christmas. In other words, they don't want to do this all the time. I'll give you the details on that. Others are doing it all the time. But the day after Christmas in 2017, apparently they had 1,000 teenagers roaming that mall, which is kind of spread out and difficult for police to police. It worked apparently really well yesterday. All right, love to get you on board. And again, at Dom Show 1210, you can vote. Is Vivek Ramaswamy correct? Hit us with that, 855-839-1210.
This is Phil Cannella with a holiday message for you, the American retiree. As long as you don't accept failure, you'll always have hope. And as long as you volunteer for others and give, you'll always have purpose in your life. And here's my message to the financial industry and its advisors. You can make a living from what you take, but you can make so many more lives better from what you give. Give the knowledge of truth so that it brings clarity to a financial industry that so many American retirees depend on. These are the gifts that have given me purpose and have fulfilled my life. In the coming years, we will give you the truth that will bring clarity to more retirees who need safety from a financial industry that's unwilling and unable to give back. On behalf of Joanne Small and the Crash Proof Retirement Team, we wish you a very happy holiday and a bright and better new year.
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 1039 FM.
Police are trying to find whoever tried to blow up an ATM on Delaware Avenue in Fishtown. Fire broke out at Crozer Chester Medical Center in Delco Thursday night. An investigation is underway into a massive fire that ripped through some row homes in Allentown, injuring at least 5 people.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Got a roofing problem? Don't let it ruin your day.
Emmons Roofing and Siding offers professional roofing services, from repairs to complete lifetime warranted replacements.
And you can trust our experienced team to keep your home safe and secure. And we can even handle insurance claims for you.
Give us a call today at 856-885-6677 or visit us on the web at callemmons.com. From top to bottom,
to inside and out,
at Emmons, we have you covered.
Window Nation presents the 1210 WPHT Veteran Spotlight in partnership with the Travis Manion Foundation. Listen the first Wednesday of every month as Kale and Company shines a spotlight on a local veteran, highlighting their remarkable commitment to the community and their exceptional service in the military. Presented by Window Nation. At Window Nation, there's nothing more important than giving back to the communities we serve. For all of your window and door needs, visit windownation.com. That's windownation.com.
I'm Bev. My husband Bill is living with idiopathic pulmonary fibrosis, a type of interstitial lung disease that can scar your lungs and make it hard to breathe. ILD can be hard to diagnose. If you're out of breath with a constant dry cough, ask a pulmonologist if it could be ILD. Bill and I have been married for over 60 years, and we're looking forward to more. If you or someone you love may have ILD, find support, hope, and help at lungsandyou.com.
Hey,
Hey, this is Jimmy Fallon in the house, and dig this, folks. This is not a drill. It's the real thing. You can now join me weeknights from 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT or anywhere on the free Odyssey app.
All right, it is Dom time. Good Friday. Welcome in. 855-839-1210. You heard where we are. Vivek Ramaswamy, his take on it. All hell breaking loose around it. Kathy Barnett, who worked in the Vivek campaign on Twitter, I saw today, is in the camp where I am, I think. She'll be here at 1 o'clock. This is an insult to American workers. It's offline. It is not anything that is artful or anything else associated with it, and it should be rejected. And I think mainly it's about money. It's about not wanting to pay people. And it's one thing to poach people from around the world. I get it. All the rest. But isn't the core of the Trump campaign to say we are the best? How are we the United States of America if we have people, they won't do these jobs. Every American's lazy. Every American's not smart enough. Stop it already. I don't care who you are. Stop it already. Are you subscribing to that? Do you feel you have to be a lemming because it's Vivek? Oh, it's Vivek. I got to agree with that. He's wrong on this one. And Elon Musk tagging in is not that much better. You heard what I said about European ball players in the NBA that he mentioned. They're marginal. There's a few. But they're not the core of the NBA. Are you kidding me? 855-839-1210. You get in. AT&T and Verizon Wireless. Just push pound 1210. This will be cut 9. Here is a former Disney employee breaking down in tears as he describes a group of IT workers being told they're losing their jobs because the jobs were given to foreign workers through this H-1B visa program. Rubio opposed it. Trump opposed it, at least on paper. What are they going to say about this? Cut 9.
I walked into a small conference room with about 24 highly respected fellow IT workers. The Disney executive made a harsh announcement to us all. All of you in this room will be losing your jobs in the next 90 days. Your jobs have been given over to a foreign workforce. In the meantime, you will be training your replacements until your jobs are 100% transferred over to them. And if you do not cooperate, you will not receive any severance pay. I was completely silent during this meeting, thinking how this was going to affect my coworkers. How was I going to break news to my family and pay all of our expenses? I would soon be living on unemployment. Later that same day, I clearly remember going to the local church pumpkin sale and having to tell the kids I couldn't buy any that year because my job was being turned over to a foreign worker. I started to think what kind of an American I was becoming. Was I going to become part of ruining our country by taking severance pay in exchange for training my foreign replacement? How many other American families would be affected by the same foreign worker that I trained? The first part of my 90-day period was focused on capturing all that we did with our jobs. We all felt extremely humiliated when the foreign worker sat next to us and watched everything that we did. The final period of the 90 days was the most disgraceful and demoralizing, as we had to watch the foreign workers completely take over our jobs. And we came to grips that the upcoming Disney jobs promise didn't exist. Then finally, on January 31st of 2015, we were ordered to turn in our company badges, laptops, and then ushered out the door. How can it be that everybody that hears these stories about Disney and the like, from the barbers to the bankers, are completely shocked? Yet our lawmakers continue to debate the topic and take no action. The reason that more affected IT workers don't come out into the public is twofold. And that is why most lawmakers mostly hear from the tech giants and are very rarely heard from the displaced American workers who will disclose themselves publicly.
All right, there you go. There's evidence number one, 855-839-1210. Now, occasionally, could there be some superstar out there and all? Are you sick and tired of hearing from Democrats how Americans just won't do these jobs? The country, if we start deporting people, even criminals, vast numbers of people, on January 20th, the country's going to collapse. The other day, the San Francisco Chronicle, the wine industry will collapse. Are you tired of hearing that? And then from people like Vivek, this is insulting on the other level. You know, the idea of, I'm tired of these football quarterbacks and prom queens and all that. Ah, come on now. Enough already. 855, don't be afraid. Or you can tell me, don't be afraid of me if you're on the other side and said he's right. That's exactly it. We have to be working more fanatically here. I mean, the Trump message is about America for Americans. Is it not? That's the core of it. It's a great message. And finally, someone said it. This is not it. You ought to apologize, say this was inartful, be more explicit about what he means. And Elon Musk has a tenure on this. 855-839-1210, you get in. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, all you have to do is just push pound 1210. Do you agree with me? Do you agree with him? Kathy Barnett, I think, agrees more with me. She'll be here at 1. Also, hit us with that movie scene. Want to reenact a little bit of it. The Exorcist, that scene, I'll play it in a minute. Want to get the callers all set. This is out of line. If Robert Kennedy Jr. says something that's out of line, I'm going to say it when I think it's out of line. We're not going to be in lockstep with this stuff. And the Trump agenda, as I understand it, doesn't mesh with these comments. And there were any number of them that Vivek said along these lines. And they come down to they want to have much more expanded the HB1 visa program. I don't. Enough already with this stuff. Stop telling me about excellence when you're really attacking the American worker, and often you want to pay a cheaper amount of money. That's what it's about. That's not what the Trump movement's about. That sounds like NAFTA. That sounds like all this stuff that we've been fighting. Now, this started because Trump put an Indian American guy in charge of a major outfit, not cabinet level, and he has been a proponent of greatly expanding the HB1 visa system. I'm not. I would greatly curtail this. I would curtail it down to almost nothing. Is this false American pride? We don't have the people here. How are we the greatest country in the history of the world? How are we still the dominant power in the world if we are not capable people? That we don't have geniuses here. Even if their parents may have immigrated to the country, yes, we get that. And they're here now. They grew up here. Yes, okay. But just willy-nilly plucking people, like the example Elon Musk gave of NBA basketball players, no. And this HB1 visa thing extends far beyond the IT field. It gets into just about every walk of life where they don't want to pay, and they take advantage of this. 855-839-1210. Americans will work jobs if they're paid according to the market value. This is always undercutting this stuff. That's a large part of what it is. Plus, it's insulting. It's insulting to America and the American worker. So don't be afraid. There are going to be differences of opinion here. By the way, a quick reminder, we have a heck of a race going on in the final between Joe of Columbus and Scott of Mount Laurel. Vote now. You can still vote. Dan's off today with me, but I think he set it for around 2 o'clock. We'll have the final result. Just go to at Dom Show 1210, at Dom Show 1210. You can vote. And it's been quite a unbelievable race. All right, let's go to Dave in Chester Springs. And Dave is in on Talk Radio 1210. Hello, Dave. Welcome in.
Hey, Don. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, Dave.
Thank you. I have some input on the visa thing and the IT field. So I think it's mainly a cost-cutting measure. So sometimes they'll say, oh, we got to eliminate jobs, so we'll eliminate a U.S. position and we'll move it offshore. And that's a savings or a visa. The other thing is there is some truth that the shortage of IT workers for U.S. citizens or whatever, U.S. born, there is a shortage. whether they don't apply to it, because I don't know whether they don't apply to it because it doesn't pay.
Dave. No, I'm looking at the census statistics. We have 2 times the number of STEM graduates that are not employed in STEM right now. Americans that are unemployed or not employed in STEM, 2 times what the demand apparently is. We are turning them out.
Okay, well, maybe it's the pay, but I think the other thing is once the visa crowd gets into the hiring decisions, they only hire additional visa holders too.
Well, what do you make of it that a guy we entrusted, Vivek Ramaswamy, that this is his attitude in this?
I think he's got over his skis a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. And Musk jumping in wasn't quite as bad, Dave, as I said, but he's got a tin ear on this stuff. Look, this is not the Trump campaign is not about cutthroat business type of stuff, which is capitalism that Musk might do or Vivek Ramaswamy. It's about Americans first.
Yeah, but again, my first statement, it goes to the cost. I remember going in a big room and saying, hey, it's cheaper if we get 2 guys overseas than 1 person here for the same price. And so the cost is probably the most driving factor.
Oh, well, it is. It is. But again, does that mesh with the Trump movement?
No.
No, that's what I'm saying. So, I think we're going to need some clarification. These guys ought to stick to what they're good at, the regulations, cost-cutting part of this, and not get involved in this because I think they're antithetical to the Trump position.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your scene, Dave?
I guess kind of off the cuff scene that always sticks in my mind is Patton, the movie, General Patton, and he just defeated Rommel in North Africa, and he says, I read your book, you SOB.
Oh, yeah. There's several scenes in Patton, of course, when he slaps a guy in the hospital, but imagine a guy so feared that we were able to take rubber tanks and all that type of stuff, and they were afraid Patton was going to lead the charge at Calais, not at Normandy. Wow, that's amazing. Dave, thank you. Have a good New Year, and thank you very much for the first time call there. Thank you. So it's the scene in Patton, okay? We'll put that down. If you want to give me a specific line, even act it out. Here is a little bit of what got my attention from The Exorcist and always has. This is the scene with Father Damien where he takes one for the team. This will be cut 5. He tells them, come into me, cut 5.
Take me. Come into me. God damn you. Take me. Take me.
All right, and eventually jumps out of a window. "51 years ago, it debuted 51 years ago on December 26th. I think I saw it fairly early on. The music has always been haunting to me. The direction was brilliant. The guy who played the priest, I only saw in a couple of other things. I thought the guy was great on the big screen, but didn't see him too much after that. So hit us with that scene in the film and be as explicit as you can. Coming up, more of your calls. Kathy Barnett will be here at 1 o'clock. And, of course, she ran, the domestic ground game for Vivek Ramaswamy. I saw her on Trump today, disagreeing with him. This is insulting to American workers. I'm tired of it. That's what the Trump issue was. The country's not going to collapse if we start deporting people that are here illegally. It's not. B, it's not going to collapse if they can't do these cockamamie visa programs undercutting Americans. Look, this HB1A, Vivek sees it one way. I see it as very similar to NAFTA and those trade deals and the things that we made. There's a similarity here. And Americans got shafted. If lawyers and doctors, for example, were being replaced in this manner, you'd start to see riots then. They wouldn't stand for it. It's not just IT people. There's a lot of other jobs. It started with the summer jobs at the shore. It started with some of that stuff. You started to see a smattering of kids came from Ireland and then all these other countries. And now it's fundamentally that's who has those jobs. Are these jobs Americans won't do? This is what we hear from Democrats all the time. Now we're being told these are jobs that Americans can't do, or enough of Americans can't do it. Look, if you have some genius, somebody like that, one of a kind, all right, it's something to look at. But thousands and thousands and thousands of people, they're better than us? No, I don't buy that. And if you're starting to buy that as an American, something's wrong with you. Democrats buy that stuff, apparently. They're always telling us about Americans in that way. And yet, they want more and more social welfare programs. All right, 855-839-1210. That's how you get on board. More of your calls are next on Talk Radio 1210.
Weather sponsored by the Piazza Auto Group.
36 overnight, cloudy sky, maybe some rain too. Tomorrow, a high of 50, rain definitely in the forecast. Sunday, in Philadelphia, we could get up to 64 with more showers. Monday, still unseasonably warm, high 57, some showers in the morning and some sun later on.
Experience the joy of a new Volkswagen during the Sign Then Drive sales event. Lease a new Tiguan from Piazza Volkswagen of Ardmore or Langhorne with 0 down. Or get 0% financing for 60 months. Visit piazzavw.com for details.
This school year, get your child or grandchild the help they need to succeed. Special tutoring and custom instruction is available from METC, the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. Now's the time to call Kathy Ganna and help your child have an outstanding year. Call the Motivational Educational Tutoring Company. For over 30 years, METC's tutoring studio, founded by educator Kathy Ganna, has helped people of all ages grow personally and academically. Call Kathy today at 215-493-4200. METC offers motivational SAT prep as well as academic skills and leadership training. Call 215-493-4200. Visit online at METC.com. Call METC's tutoring studio today at 215-493-4200 or email Kathy directly at info@METC.com. Remember, 1210 listeners receive a free 1-hour consultation. Take advantage of this opportunity to help your child get one-on-one help. Call 215-493-4200. That's 215-493-4200.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6481. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-575-6481. That's 800-575-6481.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
See Joe Conklin's comedy show at Holy Rosary Regional School in Plymouth Meeting Saturday, February 1st with Jim Daly and Tim Conniff. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. JoeConklin.com!
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, that's right. It is Dom time. So Vivek Ramaswamy, a little bit Elon Musk versus, say, someone like Kathy Barnett, who'll be here at 1, or me, on this issue as it plays out. By the way, Tim Dillon, you know his face if you've seen him, is doing Netflix is doing a roast. And the premise, a part of the roast, is the United Healthcare guy in the afterlife. I don't know if he's supposed to be in hell or not. I'm not sure. Roasting him. You realize it's what? Is it a month or so after this? Are people going to be laughing at this? Apparently Netflix thinks so, that they are. And I know I'm supposed to be shut up by saying there are people that everything is funny. Where's the humor in this? A guy gunned down like this, a dad, 2 kids, etc. where's the humor in that? Tell me. You know, once it's on, I think it debuts today. I may talk about it on Monday, but he's got a chain around him, you know, like Walking with the Chain, the ghost, and he's grayish color and all that. Not sure. I just think any roast that I've seen always ends up where it goes too far. It's almost always. That one we saw with Tom Brady and the guy who made the joke about Puerto Rico at Madison Square Garden in the Trump campaign. They're kind of what I think happens with roast. And roasting on this subject, when already we have a problem that any number of Americans have lionized this guy. A, they hate the healthcare industry, and B, they think this guy's attractive. My God. It's pretty difficult to imagine. All right, side question today. Hit me with that scene, and you may want to tell me a little bit more about it. You know, a line, you want to imitate it. That would be great. We'll get a winner at the end of the show. Letters to Trump, this unbelievable book. We'll pull that from this week. And don't forget to vote on the issue of our Caller of the Year. All right, let's go to Phil in Center City. And Phil, you're on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Phil, good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon. It's actually Phil from Delaware, but...
Okay, Phil, hi.
Hi, happy holidays.
Happy holidays, Phil.
So, with hockey players, mostly Canadian, baseball, Dominican Republic, and Mexico. With basketball, seems to be European countries. So, it's not just specific countries.
Well, I'm just going by what Elon Musk threw in about a couple of European players, like the world's going to end with the NBA. We're not dealing with, Phil, just a couple of players here and there. We're dealing with thousands of people for Americans that could do IT jobs.
And it's interesting with that, with kids, they spend their whole life in, practice and wanting to be major league players. Right. And with the medical industry, they're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars for an education. Those IT guys had, they were working for however many years. They invested in their job, and here comes the replacement.
Right.
So I would start doing like, you were suggesting with like napkin stuff. I think the government should start charging a fee if a company really wants to bring somebody in to undercut wages. Good. We're going to tax them. Okay.
That sounds like the Trump campaign. What's your scene from a movie or TV show, Phil?
It's pretty depressing and sad, but really hit me the story where, the husband was visiting his wife who was in a home suffering from dementia, would come in and out of her, comatose and not remembering their life together. Right. And they end up going to bed, and the last scene is sunrise, and they're both dead holding hands in bed together.
Wow, that's a heck of a scene. It's a moving scene, but wow, that's intense. That is definitely intense. I haven't seen that, but yeah, that is a scene you wouldn't forget. So hit us with a scene. There might be one word of dialogue. Jim Kelly and I always do the scene from The Godfather, where Marlon Brando's character, the Godfather, is telling Michael that wasn't enough time, Michael, wasn't enough time. The American dream and all that. And, of course, Michael Corleone says, we'll get there, Pop. We'll get there. That scene is the most powerful out of the two Godfathers to me. But this scene, Father Damien throwing himself out of the window to take the devil out, is incredible. I'm a big fan of The Exorcist. I don't think it's just a knockoff horror film at all. So hit us with that scene. 855-839-1210. A couple people, Scott Jennings on CNN, went after Vivek and saying he seems to be saying, make America Urkel again. In other words, Vivek saying, we should stand up for the nerds and all that. Why are we just looking at the athletes? Is that really true? I mean, there's some of that, or hasn't that always been a bit true? Does America not respect people of intelligence or people that are going to be in STEM? A little hard to tell what he's saying, but he's pitching for HB1 visas more and arguing that's why Silicon Valley is hiring all these people, because Americans are not up to it. I don't believe that. Democrats say the same thing. Americans are not going to work these jobs. The whole country is going to collapse if you deport people. You hear it all the time. Is that true? Is Vivek issuing a truism? Americans are just not that smart anymore. Look, we know the lapses in the public schools and all that, but we also know about the cream of the crop. We know about thousands of American kids, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, that dominate the world. This is pretty insulting here. And I'm all for various immigrant groups in this country that are dominant. I'm the one that says we have too few Asians in a place like Harvard. If they qualify, they qualify. But they're here in America, by and large. This HB1 stuff is asking to exempt and bring in hundreds of them. Why? To undercut American workers. Well, Silicon Valley says it's not about that. We just want the best. Is that really what it's about? You trust them on that? And wasn't the Trump campaign saying to a lot of Americans, you know what, this NAFTA and all this nonsense, I'm going to be your champion. They're not going to push you around anymore. They're not going to undercut Americans. We're not going to be replacing them with a bunch of fat cats that are making money and telling you you're not good enough. The average American worker is good enough versus the rest of the world, but they're not going to work for slave wages. They're not going to, nor should they be forced to work like people in some other countries. Right? And I don't care who says it. I don't care if Elon Musk says it or Vivek Ramaswamy. I don't care if Democrats say it. Neither should you. When they're wrong, they're wrong. Don't feel, oh my God, you can't say that. They're always right. Not right on this one. This is insulting. And they ought to apologize, and then we ought to move on, and they ought to go back to the cost cutting and the things that they're supposed to be there to do. Because they certainly have a tin ear when it comes to Trump supporters, and on Twitter and all over the place, they're responding exactly as I am or more. 855-839-1210. I'll come to you more on the side question. Hit us with that all-time scene. That's what we're looking for. Hey, the NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season. And FanDuel, you can do it with FanDuel in partnership with Valley Forge Casino. That's America's #1 sports book, because right now, new customers, you can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. There are so many ways for you to pick up a W. All that you have to do, not only can you bet on who will win the game, but FanDuel also has bets for which player will score a touchdown, how many points each team will score, and so much more. Just visit FanDuel.com/Dom, D-O-M, to join today. This way you'll be all set for the biggest game of the year. That's FanDuel.com/Dom, D-O-M, for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. FanDuel Sportsbook is the official partner of 1210 WPHT. You have to be 21 plus, present in Pennsylvania. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. The bonus is issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after that receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
My life is officially going on hiatus. My timeline will be inactive for 12 days. I'm not even opening the stinking app. If you spend your holidays pontificating over the drones and recording videos,
you'll personally attack.
You know what? Seriously, start a family, okay? Start a family, create kids, go get laid, get drunk, spend something, buy something you can't afford, treat yourself to a gift. Just enough with the drones already. Enough!
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
My dad, Len, always says, the minute you get in a car, everyone, front and back, should buckle up.
And my son Jordan always says, the minute you get in a car accident, first seek medical attention and then call us. This is Len Lundy.
And I'm Jordan Lundy of Lundy Law. My dad and I hope you never meet us because of an accident. But if you do, we're here for you.
Remember our name, Lundy Law, your injury lawyer.
Call 1-800-LUNDY-LAW or visit lundylaw.com.
This is Dr. Marianne Ritchie. Tune in to Your Radio Doctor every Saturday afternoon at 5 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT for the latest healthcare news and information, because your health is your wealth. That's Your Radio Doctor, Saturdays at 5.
I'm Gary Barbera.
I'm Gary Barbera.
Season's greetings from the Barbera Bear family to your family. Is Fox Chase Cancer Center and U.S. Marines Toys for Tots the best? Boy, I guess. Boom, shakalaka.
At California Psychics, we reject 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us. Like this lady with the clairvoyant canine.
If Mystic Biscuits barks once, you'll find the love of your life. If he barks twice, you'll be bitten by a radioactive shrimp. Okay, next time he can lick you with his healing saliva for a few extra bucks.
At California Psychics, we only connect you with the best. So can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. Right now, new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. So you can get advice that doesn't come from a dog. Experience the joy of certainty at CaliforniaPsychics.com.
Harry, if you watch any more of those stupid financial shows, I'm filing for divorce.
How am I going to keep up with our retirement accounts?
At JML Financial Group, we want you watching your grandkids playing soccer and sunsets in Hawaii, not the latest rumor of a market crash. Surprisingly, with proper income planning, the stock market shouldn't even be a concern. The money came in every 2 weeks while you worked. It should be the same in your retirement years. Let us show you how. Call JML Financial Group today at 856-925-6674. That's 856-925-6674. Or at jmlfinancialgroup.com. So, when your neighbor's sunbathing in the front yard,
Harry, you're an idiot. Get away from the window.
keep your eyes focused where they should be, on enjoying your retirement. Securities and investment advisory services offered through Brokers International Financial Services, LLC, member SIPC. Brokers International Financial Services, LLC is not an affiliated company.
Free speech lives here with Kale and Company weekday mornings on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
All right, it's Dom time, 855-839-1210. That's how you get on board. You know, hard to figure out fully the NFL numbers. The Christmas game set streaming records, okay? So the NFL can point to that, but they trail the 2023 broadcast numbers of the NFL on all those platforms. So does that tell us then they're going to continue to do this? Well, they got $150 million, so they're going to balance that versus not as many people watched NFL football this Christmas. And the only reason I can think of why they didn't have Netflix. They weren't someplace where somebody had Netflix, and they weren't going to pay for it just to watch a football game, which I'm wholeheartedly in favor of, because the more you let them do this, the more that's what you're going to get. And the NBA did rather well, but they still were dwarfed by the NFL ratings, even though it was exclusively on Netflix. Streaming record best, but they did better in 2023 when just on regular TV, a broadcast TV. What does that tell them? Well, we came pretty close, and we're getting $150 million. So maybe we'll continue that. Side question today, talking about The Exorcist, and that's 51 years ago that it debuted, and also talking about this Vivek Ramaswamy comments, and then Elon Musk jumping in And I don't want this to be a civil war. The media wants that. They want to say, oh, man, here we're going to go now here. But these guys ought to stick to their knitting, which is cutting government, etc., I think. Or maybe you're in agreement with them. Vivek went on this long thing on Twitter attacking the American value system, too much emphasis on prom queens and football quarterbacks. And as I said, Scott Jennings went after him on CNN, and I think appropriately. Let's go to Scott of Mount Laurel. Scott's in on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Scott, good afternoon.
Hey, Dom. I tell you, whether I agree or disagree, I don't even care. I just don't want Vivek to get out there and give people fodder to oppose him on what he's there for, is to cut the budget and slim down government. And all he's doing is giving people fodder. They'll use it against him. And there are people, unfortunately, that will, oppose him for reasons that have nothing to do with the job that he's hired to do.
Right. And the bottom line, though, is the agenda here HB1 visas, or he just wanted to make this point in support of this Indian American guy? I can't get inside his head. All I know is we already have way too much of this visa program. This is insulting to Americans. We have Americans just as smart or more than anybody else in the world.
I agree with that completely, but I think the biggest thing is that Vivek needs to stay out of everything else and stay. And I know he likes to talk, so it's going to be hard for him to keep that low profile and only come out like Musk came out when there was a budget issue with what the Democrats were trying to do, and that was a great influence. But to come out on other topics, you're just creating people that are going to be against you for no reason.
And this is already going to be difficult enough. We know how intransigent government is to cut this and to actually do it. We all agree to cut it, but the mechanism to do it is going to be hard. Exactly right. Don't give them any fodder. Just say, I didn't mean this, and move on.
Yeah, exactly. And did you hear, I don't know if you heard this morning with Tony Bruno, they were playing this Lindy Lee, her quote basically that the Democrats are so upset, the big donors, about how their money was wasted and they gave it to Oprah and to Al Sharpton, all this stuff. Boy, Republicans should be jumping on that and saying, yes, and this is exactly how our government is being run. And this is why we need to cut all this stuff out. I mean, this is like a golden opportunity.
It is. And, again, keeping people in their lanes is all that's necessary. We're trying to get Lindy Lee on, I don't know about next week, but very soon. And she's exposed exactly your point. These people are not dumb. Not only did they lose, but they enriched Al Sharpton, Oprah, and these others.
And they're doing the same thing with our tax dollars every single day, which is why we really need this committee.
What's your scene, Scott?
My scene is, and there's a part in Rocky IV, and I saw this originally in the theater, in Rocky IV where Rocky starts to really damage Drago, and he really just starts to take control of the fight. And there's an emotion there, and you think about, especially Cold War, 1980s, it was just, it was off the chart with emotion in that theater.
Well, I mean, you're leaving out the money shot, though. Isn't there a line in there?
I know, your favorite is your favorite. I know, Drago bleeds.
Yes! You want to say that to the kids.
I didn't want to say that because I don't want to act like I was just sucking up to try to win.
No, that's okay. No, you're exactly right. That scene, that's the line, because I try to say that to people all the time. You're tired of hearing they put their pants on one leg at a time like you do. But when you see the other side bleed a little bit, oh, man, that's when you know they're not Superman.
Yeah, that is true. You just got to keep pounding away with those body punches. And the same thing with cutting government. I mean, that's what we're going to have to do. The Democrats aren't going to make it easy. They're going to make us really grind it out.
Yeah, good scene, Scott. Rocky IV, thank you. Have a good new year. And Scott, of course, one of the contenders. Go to at Dom Show 1210, at Dom Show 1210. It's him and Joe of Columbus. Haven't heard from Joe today. Maybe we will in this big finale. But yeah, but Drago bleeds. That's the line for me. All right, Kathy Barnett on deck circle. Happy holidays to all. And it's a perfect time to talk about rescued natural supplements and their Deck the Hall sale. Right now, you can save up to 78% on exceptional nutritional supplements for every area of your health, from essentials like omega-3s, probiotics, to cholesterol support, natural pain relief, and a whole lot more. And the best part, over a dozen health-boosting rescue products. They are marked down under $20. Get started or stock up today. Call them at 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483. What happens is you'll speak to a rescue product consultant or shop online at res-q.com. That's res-q.com. At with Rescue, you can reinforce your immunity system, you can boost energy, and you can reach your health goals. Again, there's no code needed to save up to 78% site-wide. Get a head start on your health. Visit today, res-q.com.
Make 2025 the year you get started on your next success with the University of Maryland Global Campus. An accredited state university, UMGC is a school for real life, helping working adults like you learn the skills you need for the career you want. Choose from more than 135 degrees and certificates in career-relevant fields and earn up to 90 credits toward a bachelor's for prior learning and life and work experience. Or transfer up to 12 credits toward a master's. We offer scholarships, affordable tuition, and online and hybrid classes, all with the support you need from your first day to graduation day and beyond. Get a head start on your goals in the new year. Now is the perfect time to take the next step in your life and education at University of Maryland Global Campus. Apply now and save with no application fee. Undergraduate and most graduate courses start January 8th. Learn more at umgc.edu. That's umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chev.
There's a reason that potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only about 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get about 2/3 of it, and the rest goes to Uncle Sam. Jim Cipriotti at the Retire Ready Financial Group can help. His tax mapping process can help forecast what your tax bill will be in the future, and that way you can build a strategy now to potentially decrease your tax bill in retirement. In other words, more for you and less for Uncle Sam. Call today for your complimentary retirement tax mapping report, 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415, or find them online at retirereadyfg.com. And get Uncle Sam's greedy hands out of your retirement.
Hey, you've had enough.
With a complimentary tax mapping report from Jim Cipriotti. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC, NPN number 2083768.
Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
Okay, big issues, big guest, even in the middle of, the holiday shows here on Talk Radio 1210. Kathy Barnett, of course, ran that stunning campaign for Senate here against Dave McCormick, an ultimate winner, and against Dr. Oz, who was the nominee. Big money, grassroots campaign. She took over the grassroots campaigning for Vivek Ramaswamy's presidential run, which was highly successful given anything that you look at for the nomination. And yet I saw her on Twitter today, I think, making the point that a lot of Americans are making about the statements we've been talking about. So we're thrilled to bring Kathy back to Talk Radio 1210. Kathy, welcome and Happy New Year in advance.
Happy New Year, Dom. Thank you so much for having me on.
So, Kathy, when I saw you on Twitter, right, what was your exact role with Vivek?
I was, the first person Vivek brought onto his presidential team, and it was just Vivek and I for the first 4 months of his team, or of his presidential campaign. And 2, I was the national grassroots director for his campaign.
Yes, and that's because nobody knows the grassroots. I remember we would get you on during your campaign from a hog farm in Erie or something, out there in rural Pennsylvania, et cetera, that knows these things and was outstanding in that role. So I am in the camp, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I did say on Twitter that these remarks are just tin ear at best and insulting. When I initially read what he said and he was getting wound up, I thought, okay, he's talking about some of the things that we all recognize for certain students in public schools and certain families and all the rest. But then it seems to be pegged to more HB1 visas or why Silicon Valley thinks Americans are dumb. What's your response to this?
Okay, well, if you're talking about Vivek specifically, Vivek clearly does not believe Americans are dumb, and I am not speaking as someone who was just on his team, but someone who spent an exorbitant amount of time with him, spent the night with him and his family in his home, had many, many dinners, many, many private times. So I can assure you he's not he does not believe Americans are dumb. In fact, many of the policies that President-elect Trump and Elon Musk and others are talking about that MAGA loves are policies and ideas that were first brought up and shaped by Vivek, like shutting down the Department of Education, shutting down the FBI. No one within the Republican Party had ever talked about doing such a thing until Vivek brought it up. And so that is who he is. And in fact, I was texting him earlier this morning, and I was like, I don't know if that Whiplash example, that Whiplash movie example was a good example to express your thought. I certainly don't care so much, especially for the first 15 minutes of that movie. And one of the things he said to me is that, you know, in hindsight, I mean, he maintains his position, but in hindsight, he should
Kathy,
not have.
If you go forward, though, what is the position if that's excessive, not seeing Americans as dumb? And then Elon Musk talking about European basketball players. Look, I think there are certain people that might be genius level at Silicon Valley once, but this HB1 program, et cetera, is excessive. And we have Americans here. And Kathy, you know, I see in my own family, I've seen your family. We have Americans that are putting their kids into STEM or programs. It was way over the top, I think.
You know, I mean, and I started this conversation like Christmas Eve when I first saw the new person that President Trump has tapped to be the AI senior advisor for President Trump. This is really how it got started. I can't recall his name. I can't pronounce his name without looking at it, and I don't have it. And I don't have it in front of me. Yes, exactly. Donald Trump's tapped him to be a senior advisor onto his campaign, and then this particular person began to have the conversation online about removing all caps on H-1B visas. And of course, it was crouched under the red herring that, it's just because there's a shortage of high qualified individuals. So therefore, we should just open the floodgates on Silicon Valley and other tech bros bringing in these people to come and work jobs. And then as it began to evolve, you know, I think we all saw what it's really all about. One, when you drill it all down, looking at comments from all of the billionaire class versus those within MAGA, what it comes down to is, it appears to me anyway, that we have neither side is really listening to the other side. My background is corporate finance. On day one of my corporate finance class, it was drilled into us that the number one priority for businesses is to maximize shareholder value, which is in general to maximize the bottom line. So everything is looked at like widgets, nuts, bolts, and that's it. But America is bigger than just widgets, nuts, and bolts. These are our lives. These are our family. This is how we want to live our lives. So on one hand, I can see from the perspective of businesses that it's all about the bottom line. But as an American who loves this country, our country is bigger than a corporation and just focusing on the bottom line. And I don't believe that the other side of this argument was very tuned in to how we, MAGA, and I believe MAGA represents the overwhelming majority of Americans, of how we are looking at this. We know that when you remove the caps on these H-1B visas, that allows tech bros to bring in a large number of immigrants, mostly from India, who will come in and work these jobs. And what they're really doing is getting people to work 80-hour work weeks on a 40-hour pay. So, no, Americans don't want that. And we've created a market where we don't have to just sit down, shut up, and accept it. We can begin to work hard or push our need to have better paying jobs that take into account our style of living. And I just don't think that conversation was being heard by the other side. But I believe it has been heard.
Oh, well, okay, because the damage. Now, if this were Elon Musk, I'll be candid, Kathy, I don't know if you feel this way. I get it. He might be out of touch. I thought Vivek was more in touch with this in the way to pose this or engage this and articulate it. Musk jumped in and started talking about European basketball players. It's such a small sample. You know, we would make allowances if you truly have someone who's so dynamic in a particular field. But you're right. This is thousands and thousands and thousands. Democrats are the ones that say Americans won't do these jobs, and the country will collapse on the low-end jobs if we deport illegals. And here you hear the billionaire class saying essentially, well, we think these people are excellent. No, really, you think they'll work harder. And working hard is fine, but you're right, 80 hours for 40 hours pay is not working
We're not buying that. Right, exactly. Like, we're not going to sit or going to be okay with that, because what it actually does, now, this conversation on Christmas Eve, it evolved from, oh, no, we just want high-skilled, high-quality workers who will do what Americans won't do or can't do. That was really how it was phrased. Till today, I woke up and now they're talking about, oh, no. What we really are asking for, just these really geniuses, right? Well, in our system, H-1B workers are not the genius class, and this is the class, the visa class, that they're asking to remove all caps and just allow companies to just bring over however many. No, that's actually under the O visa class. The O visa class are individuals with extraordinary ability or achievement. Well, what many people have done over these past couple of days is that it's open coding. You can go out and look at the H-1B visa job openings, and they are not extraordinary geniuses positions. These are accountants or people who input information or just sit there and just type in code that has already been written up by other people. So this is not the geniuses. These are not the geniuses that they're asking for. So, again, we're going to need a lot of clarification. We're going to need people, instead of just talking at one another, but to listen to each other. The problem or one of the concerns that I have very early on is that it's one thing for the billionaire class, the tech bros, to advocate for their position. I expect them to do that because they're looking at it from a business owner perspective, and their perspective is the bottom line. The problem comes in is that now we have many of these high-tech billionaires who are now a part of the administration, and they will be making policy. So they're not just advocating from the outside, but now they're actually on the inside making the policies. And so this is dialogue. I'm still grateful for Elon Musk. I don't think we should be throwing anybody out of the window with the bathwater. What I do believe is that it is healthy to have these dialogues. It is healthy to push these people back. We are not stupid. We are not a bunch of ingrates, as I heard one of them, not Elon Musk or Vivek, but they're just, they're saying, oh, well, if you understood what we understood, oh, you're not thinking right. Oh, your thinking is upside down. No, they are talking to Maga. And Maga has been through some things these past 8 years. We were shunned. We were kicked out of rooms. They jailed many of us during J6, which was not an insurrection. We lost business opportunities. They ridiculed us for homeschooling our kids. We didn't get the jab, many of us, and come to find out 8 years later, we were right about almost everything. And so we've become hardened, and we have dug our foot in. We are the reason why Donald Trump has been reelected. We never wavered on that, on the idea of America first. And so when they come and talk to us, they're going to have to figure it out, like a lot of other people had to figure it out. Don't come in through the front door, kicking it down, trying to tell us what America first means. No, we created America first. We understand it. You're going to have to eat some humble pie, sit down, and actually talk to us as we figure this thing out. So what we're watching is dialogue, and dialogue is healthy.
Well, Kathy, with you in there, I'm just telling you, though, I think I was surprised not with Musk, because he's not been in this world, but Vivek definitely is someone who stylistically knows exactly what he's doing. And I realize how people got swept up in this, but I'm glad you're talking and getting that message across. Particularly, we want them not to be outside their lane so much when it comes to cutting government, because this type of stuff is going to be used against them by the other side.
Yeah, absolutely. But like I said, I was literally up texting with Vivek this morning, like, that didn't go so well. And then I was explaining to him essentially what I just said to you right now.
Yes,
let me tell you who MAGA is, right? Let me tell you what we've had to endure these past 8 years. So when you talk to us, there's a certain way in which to do it. And
exactly.
Vivek understands
to that point, Kathy, let me ask you, what are you doing? Anything in the Trump administration, or what are you doing yourself now?
Well, right now I spent the last 4 years running for office or trying to help someone else, which meant I spent a lot of time away from my family. So right now I have really been enjoying being plugged back in with my family and helping my teenagers and steering them. However, I am, as you probably already know, I am the new weekend host for our radio station, your radio station, 1210. I'm very excited about that opportunity to be talking about it. I will be in next week, standing in for Don Stensland's show. So I'm excited about staying close to home, but I still have the phone numbers of a lot of people, and I am still their advisors, some of them, like Vivek, for example, and I get to have those conversations with them. And so I will find a role, a place for myself that is comfortable and creates balance for me and my family.
All right, Kathy, thank you. Thanks for coming on today, and congratulations on the new role.
Thank you so much, Dom. Blessings.
All right, that's Kathy Barnett here on Talk Radio 1210. 855-839-1210. That's how you get on board. You can jump in right now. All right, so you heard what I had said about this with Vivek. You heard what Kathy said here, and where this started with this guy that's been put in charge of AI, essentially, and his comments on greater expansion of HB-12 visas. No way. And it's not just IT jobs, and it's not just lower-level IT jobs. It's across the board. There's all kinds of things they're involved in. That's not what this has been about. Not even in the slightest. All right, 855-839-1210. That will get you on board. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, all you have to do is just push pound 1210. Let me go to Brian and Wayne on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Brian, afternoon.
Hey, Dom, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, loud and clear.
Okay, I'm a Trumper. I voted for Trump and Vance. I won an America First agenda. I do see a need for HB1 visas in select cases. However, I don't want it expanded. I want the jobs to go to Americans, and I side with what you've been saying, and I appreciate you saying this on the radio.
Well, thank you, Brian, very much. How about your side today? What's the movie? What's the scene?
I love the movie Legends of the Fall with Anthony Hopkins and Brad Pitt. And if you've ever seen it, watch it again. But it's about Colonel William Ludlow, and he was involved with the government as a colonel, and saw how the government was mistreating the Indians, and he resigned. Well, Colonel Ludlow had 3 sons. Tristan, Samuel, and Albert. Albert was his oldest, who ended up being a senator. Tristan was a rebel who loved the Indian ways, and Samuel went off to fight in World War I, and ended up getting killed. And there's a scene in there where he has a stroke and he lost the ability to really speak, and he had a blackboard hung around his neck where he would take a piece of chalk and write on it to communicate to people. And his son Tristan, like I said, he was a wild man. He was selling moonshine, and I think Colonel Ludlow was just so disgusted with the government and the corruption and how they were corrupt in during the Prohibition and through the war. And so he goes to speak, and he speaks and says, screw the government. And when you watch that movie, it just communicates so much of just his anger with his life experience of what he's experienced with all the corruption in government.
Great stuff, Brian. Thank you, and thanks for doing some of the scene. That's exactly what we're looking for. All right, you heard Kathy Barnett. You can get him right now at 855-839-1210, AT&T, and Verizon Wireless. All that you have to do is just push pound 1210.
Kale & Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Phil Almquist giving the Kale & Company flag to Jeremy. He's the recipient for the week.
You promise you'll fly it on your truck and you'll return it next week?
100%.
Okay, all right.
You have other people in the hopper stocker, so to speak, or how can people request the flag?
Probably won't be till January until you can do it, but we have other people. If you want to fly the flag high on your truck or house or whatever, you have to display it. It can't sit in the back of your truck like it did for Kale. Send me an email, greg.stocker@odyssey.com.
Start your day with Kale & Company. Weekday mornings, 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
If you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, write this number down or put it into your phone. 800-411-2215. The IRS is hiring more staff and cracking down. Call Tax Relief Helpers now to learn about our tax debt reduction programs and how to stop the collection efforts. If you're facing liens, levies, an audit, wage garnishment, or years of unpaid taxes, even if you're already in a payment plan, we can help. Through special IRS programs, you may qualify to have your tax debt settled for a fraction of what you owe. Tax Relief Helpers has helped thousands of taxpayers qualify for these generous relief programs, earning an A rating with the Better Business Bureau. No matter what amount you or your business owe to the IRS, call our Tax Relief Hotline now for a free consultation and see what savings you may qualify for. Don't tackle the IRS on your own, and don't risk having your wages, Social Security, even your pension seized. Call now. Call 800-411-2215. That's 800-411-2215. 800-411-2215.
Hey girl, it's your new night guy, Jimmy Fallon in the house from 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and free on the Odyssey app.
All right, Dom Giordano Show. Welcome in. Get us with Everybody's Got One. Give me that movie scene. And great call from Brian, who really broke it down with his film. Might want to imitate it a little bit. That scene from The Exorcist, great scene with Father Damien. You heard Kathy Barnett on the billionaire class here, not getting it in this mode. So, yeah, that's it. Now, the Trump people that we're putting into the cabinet, too, this is why it's such an unusual blend. The word of the year for 2025, well, I've been stating it for a while, is disruptors. They will be disruptors. And that's exactly what was voted on, to disrupt the status quo. But there's good disruption, there's bad. Now, here's the case. Kevin O'Leary, I love Shark Tank. I don't know why it's gone off. I don't know. It's been on 10 years or whatever. I'm looking on Twitter today that Kevin O'Leary is headed to meet with President Trump because of all this Canada talk and wanting to break down the border. Why can't we just have trade without a border? And why can't we have one currency and all this stuff? What? Kind of our own miniature European Union with Canada. I don't want anything to do with the Canadians, and I don't think you do either. Any system that has Trudeau, two Trudeaus, the father too, rise to the top. Any system that appears to be a rough and tumble country but is politically correct beyond belief, why would we want to get enmeshed with Canada? So, you know, I think Trump's joking around about having them as a state and all this. O'Leary apparently has drawn up big plans to talk with him about. Where I am on board with Trump, and I said it the other day, two things. One, the Panama Canal. Yeah, we sacrificed a lot of lives, a lot of treasury. We're not getting a good deal on the Panama Canal. Two, if we could buy Greenland, I'm all on board, or trade it. Trump, I don't know about kiddingly, but several people have reported was saying, well, would they take Puerto Rico for Greenland? Greenland has apparently immense physical mineral treasures, is geopolitically situated in a good spot. China making all kinds of moves, encroachment around the Arctic, etc. And Greenland would be a natural play. Now, I've told you, and we're going to talk with him after the new year with Bill O'Reilly. He's been talking with Trump any number of times, and President Trump talking about the idea of what do I have to do to be a great president or the greatest president in American history? And these are significant things, like annexing Greenland. That's no small thing. That would be a major deal. And if we get that Trump trying to do things like this, particularly on day one, this is going to be a golden age. The only thing is, I have not seen, now look, Trump says a lot of things, so, you know, it could have been off the cuff. I have not seen him go back to what I think is fairly hard, but can be done in a reasonable period of time. Now, what he can do on day one is do what he did before, shut down the border, essentially. That's doable, and he knows what to do. I'm talking about getting inflation off our backs, chipping away at not the rate of inflation, but actually what goods have been inflated to because of the disaster of Biden and Bidenomics. Energy is one way to do that, and I think that will help. But I think he's got to be laser focused. I think people would really respond positively if they see prices actually going down. But that's going to take a lot. And it's going to take a lot of work in Congress to get that through. The big news we brought you is Jeff Van Drew telling us that he crafted a bill with his staff that's on the president's desk with Trump's staff, executive order that we believe will be signed on day one, and that executive order will put a 6-month moratorium on anything doing with big wind. That's a big victory. Don, what will happen after 6 months? Well, what will happen is I think they'll reject it and say, no, the science wasn't good before. That's where I think it goes. That's all good stuff. That's what we have to look forward to. But you heard Kathy, and it's true that this is where it did start with this new guy he put in charge of AI, who apparently is a tech guru. And it started toward what the billionaire class wants. Well, that is not what Trump was voted in to do. And to me, you can hear the tin ear of Elon Musk when he jumps into Twitter. He put out one statement that was really bad. Then he put up, well, what about these European basketball players? Just allow me a moment here. You know, maybe it's my chauvinism. I'll admit it. I've never liked these guys coming from Europe. I don't think they're all that. Many of them are soft. I don't think they're that good. I'm sure marginally, they enhance some NBA teams. There's a handful of them. But are these among the greatest players of all time? No way. No way. Are they among the greatest players right now? There might be one or two of them. Maybe Jokic, even though I think he's overrated. So no way. This is an American game. Not only that, we're dealing with such a small sample size with giving a visa because the Phillies want a pitcher from Haiti or something. And these are temporary, really. Are they taking jobs of Americans? Well, I'm not saying that the Phillies, if they have somebody better from Haiti, has to play Stott or something. I'm not saying that at all. Phillies fans want to win. It is a global game. But is that the same thing as thousands and thousands and all different all different kinds of jobs? I brought this up before, how crazy they are with this visa program. They want to continue to do this and expand it. I think they're going to have to walk this back rather than just let it go. And this guy that's the AI guy better just stay in his lane. You know, we're not Silicon Valley-ing American and knocking Americans out. The whole idea was to enhance Americans. And I, for one, cannot believe that we don't have the best and the brightest here. Not every single American, we get it. But that's in any country. I mean, you think if we go to any of these countries, there are not slackers, there are not criminals, there are not all kinds of things too? Of course there are. How is this country dominant in the world if, when we really need it, we don't have these great Americans? How is that? And the answer is, it's fraudulent. It's not true. Now, do we have to do better in public schools? Of course. Who says that more than I do? But Vivek started saying too much sleepovers and all. Oh, come on. Stop. You know, come on. You guys want to put in more people that are going to undercut American employees. And you see how dangerous this is. I haven't even gotten to this part yet. Isn't the whole thing we're working with now that we have captured working class Americans? Isn't that it? That Trump did this magically? We've beaten the Democrats on this. You come out, you start dancing around, I'm going to play you the head of the Teamsters. Oh, man. What he says about Kamala Harris telling him he better get on board or it's all over for him during the campaign. In fact, let's play that cut right now, Sean. Do you see it? I'm looking on my phone for it here. So it's the Sean O'Brien cut talking about Kamala Harris during the campaign and talking about the fact that she told him, hey, we're going to win, and you better be on board with us. Otherwise, you are out. So it's, let's see.
Yeah, I'm over here looking for it,
okay.
too. I'm looking for it. I think
it's I know I put it on here this morning. It'd be perfect to play it right now. Maybe that got lost in the shuffle from yesterday. All right, I can just sum it up.
I can find it.
Okay.
I'll try to find it from yesterday.
Thank you. He said, who is this blanking lady telling me, the Teamsters, what to do? Well, she's Kamala Harris. Of course, you union guys have to fall in line with her. She's the Democrat. She's a progressive. Isn't that one of the biggest breakthroughs? So you have a few billionaires or this guy that's heading up AI out there saying this stuff. This is exactly what you don't want. We've won. We've won on this. Why the hell would we be screwing around with it? Well, I'll tell you why. Because people want to talk. They want to say stuff. They want to vent. They think they want it too.
I found it.
And thank you. And there's going to be a push and pull. So here's an example of how we won. Here's the head of the Teamsters talking about Kamala Harris during the campaign.
Prior to Biden dropping out of the race, he's in the race around June or May. One of my vice presidents, a woman named Joan Corey out of my local, she sits on our general executive board, was at an event with Vice President Harris. And, you know, they're going through the line to get the picture, and Joan introduces herself to Vice President Harris, says, I'm Joan Corey. I'm on the general executive board for the Teamsters. She goes, Teamsters? You better get on board. you better get on board. Better get on board soon. Says it to my vice president.
To her face?
To her face. So she comes back. We have the meeting the next day.
Damn.
And she tells me this.
I thought I was arrogant. That's really arrogant.
So she tells me this. So I call up Marty Walsh. He wasn't the Secretary of Labor, but, he was pushing hard for us to make the endorsement. I'm like, let me ask you a question, Marty. Excuse my French. Who does this f***ing lady think she is? Like, if I want to support from any organization, I am not going to point my finger in someone's face and say, you better get on board or else. But that's the attitude of this whole party.
All right, we've won on this. We've won. Let's keep winning on this. Isn't that the message? So there's going to be push-pull here. And, some of these guys, like the AI guy and a couple of others, some of the statements they made, they're not going to fly. Kathy Barnett was just on and made a good point on it. We won on this. We're winning them on this. And Trump might be the only Republican that can win them. So we got to build a bridge to the future. Can we coalesce them enough during the 4 Trump years that Republicans still will be seen as the party of people like Teamsters versus the Democrats? That's what it's all about. Go around with this talk of putting more Americans behind the 8 ball. No, I don't want one more of these jobs. I'll have to get the exact number of how many were approved in 2024 or whatever. In Dom's world, there might be 10 of them a year, maybe not even 10. That we'd have a board and say, yeah, this guy's extraordinary, this woman, we need to have this. Einstein wants to come here. Okay. Short of that, we're not doing it. We have Americans. If we believe in ourselves, if we believe in the country, the flag, and patriotism, it's more than that. Do we believe we got here the greatest in the world, and significant number of Americans still are? That doesn't mean we don't have all the difficulties with some Americans. But let's not go too far here when we go off on that and not realize what Americans have done. Not just a man on the moon, but name anything else. I couldn't find it today. I was on Channel 6 and all that, but I may play on a Monday. I'm going to make a note, Monday, the Americans. Remember the Canadian guy that talked about the Americans are being kicked now and all that? It was played a lot during the Reagan years. Maybe we need to hear it again. We do have people that are capable for Silicon Valley, that are geniuses also in those fields. We do have people that are inventors. We do have people that can do anything in the world, better than anybody else in the world. And you know what? It's a fine line to knowing that and quantifying it, but I choose to be on the side of the line that believes it. I'm not going to be on the side of the line that's just going to scold and lecture and doesn't believe that. I believe that. And you're going to have to prove it to me. And I'll tell you this, it's going to be a tough sell to prove that otherwise to me. I don't see that happening. I don't think you have the fodder, the firepower to do that. Do you believe or don't you believe? I believe. And I'll admit it. I'm never going to change on that. Well, Dom, if this, you're going to have to convince me. There's certain things that convincing me that America doesn't have the firepower in all these fields and always will, you're not going to convince me. You might be able to convince me easier on the death penalty, and you know that's not going to happen. There are certain things that you just have to believe in. And if you don't, something's wrong with you if you're an American. You're looking at this the wrong way. You're wanting to see it because you want to replace us because it's cheaper with the people that you want to do this with. Or you don't think we work hard enough versus the way they may work in other countries. 855-839-1210. That's not going to fly with Maga. Not in the slightest. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, all you have to do is just push pound 1210.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
These unidentified drones that are flying over New Jersey, they're saying they should declare some kind of a state of emergency.
Here's a marketing idea. I know yesterday was the sales day, so this probably won't be heard for another 6 days. We need to have a Kale and Company drone watch party.
Oh, boy.
We gather wherever these are. We'll go to Jersey, get mulligans on the line. Yeah. We're all going to sit outside, put the fire pits on. We'll have some drinks, and we'll watch drones.
Johnny Z, are you listening, buddy?
Let's go.
Open up mulligans. Let's do this, buddy.
Start your day with Kale and Company. Weekday mornings 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
It's Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra at Westchester University and Pittman, New Jersey in February.
Alan Iverson, Joel Embiid.
My dad set this up. This was actually a Christmas gift to bring us all together, come see Joe, and relive all the Philadelphia history. It's amazing.
That's Conklin with City Rhythm and the story of Philly sports through music. Westchester University on February 21st and the Broadway Theater in Pittman, New Jersey on February 22nd. Tickets to a Conklin show make great holiday gifts. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
Don't miss the Education Show with Dom Giordano every Sunday morning at 5:30. Find out how you can help your child or grandchild succeed. Sponsored by New Hope Academy.
I have a challenge for you. I want you to write down everything that you worry about, from your kids to your bills, from the economy to the election. It would probably be a pretty long list. And when you get to a certain age, you can add retirement to that list. Did you save enough? What do you do about Social Security? Is your money in the right place? And is that 401k going to cause you a tax problem? We all worry about retirement. At Spectrum Wealth Partners, they're offering a complimentary retirement consultation. It's a free meeting to talk through all those concerns. So instead of worrying about retirement, let Spectrum Wealth show you ways to help retire your worries. Call 856-322-8686 or at spectrumwp.com. And tune in to the Retirement Spectrum with Alan Cohen, Saturdays at 3 here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Advisory services offered through Concurrent Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Concurrent Investment Advisors, LLC, and Spectrum Wealth Partners are not affiliated companies.
You know, as they say, one person's personal information is another person's treasure.
That's why I don't go online without connecting to NordVPN. I don't want anyone stealing my personal information and snooping on my browsing activity. Also, TechRadar named NordVPN as the most trusted VPN by casual users and experts. Features like Threat Protection Pro safeguard your devices from phishing websites, scan downloads for malicious files, and disable intrusive ads and trackers so you can surf more safely online. Just check NordVPN.com, grab the deal, and see for yourself. By the way, you can protect up to 10 devices with one account. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Live from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
Hey, and you're with Dom. Welcome in. Early Happy New Year. Coming up at 2 o'clock, I will give you the results of the Caller of the Year. That will be the finale. It's been a long road due to that nonsense with Twitter. But my goodness, the number of votes and the number of people viewing the voting is all-time records. Should be put on Netflix. We'll give you the winner at 2 o'clock today when everything shuts down on this for 2024. And again, it's been a lot of fun with all these things we've been engaged in. A lot more in 2025. All right, we've been talking, though, about Vivek Ramaswamy, among other things, and you got the side question. And the thing I just played you, doesn't that underscore what I was saying? This is two things here. How the heck Trump won the popular vote? That just doesn't happen with Republicans anymore. And two, a lot of this was, quote, working class voters across all kinds of different lines. That's remarkable stuff. Can we keep it going here without having people that don't get it? Stay in your lane. The cost cutting of the government, perfect lane. Don't be lecturing us over here about Americans. They're doing too many sleepovers. I'm reading right from what Vivek said. Too many sleepovers, not enough extra math coaching and all. Ah, come on, my goodness. I mean, I celebrate some of this stuff, but we have enough people in America that are at the highest levels. And if you don't believe that, really, something's wrong with you. I even mentioned something as simple as basketball. You know, it's ridiculous to hear that analogy brought up. Yeah, maybe a player here and there, you gain some kind of a slight advantage. But is the game going to be dominated by European players? I don't think so. Football, certainly, we don't see any of it. Hockey, it's always been. It is a Canadian sport. Baseball is the one where there's change, but the argument is a lot of the athletes baseball used to get are going into football. And that's the reason there's not as many athletes, American athletes, in baseball. All right, let's go to Karen in Maryland. She's in on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Karen, afternoon.
Hi, Dom. What a great show. There's so many things to get upset about. But one thing that Kathy Barnett talked about was being told what we think,
right.
You know, if it wasn't a resurrection or whatnot. But I was reading a Vital magazine, health magazine, and it sounded like a late night show joke. It's like, can't think, can't remember. More Americans are complaining about brain fog while researchers debate if it's real or imagined. I mean, come on. Isn't that like a joke? People are saying they have brain fog. Well,
right.
No, I don't think they do. But anyway, back to our wonderful America and keeping it first. With the foreign workers to replace trained college American trained professionals who got companies their success, and now they want to be cut off. What about these workers that come in? Are they going to rent? Because if they rent, they don't pay taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So then when they have their children and then they, overcrowd our schools, there's a problem that wasn't mentioned.
Well,
it just sounds...
Look at all those small towns we brought during the campaign, the one in Pennsylvania, the one in Springfield, Ohio. They were being overrun by people that just went to the plant and did what the employer told them to do for whatever wage they wanted. That was it.
Right. It sounds like part of the Great Divide, it really does. And maybe AI should just stick with corporate for a while. I mean, American families are bombarded. We need printers now, security devices, internet. I mean, leave us alone and do your thing, but, keep us out of it so we can get caught up with the vast changes.
Karen,
right? One more thing.
Yes.
Go ahead.
What was your side answer? Don. Yeah, what's your side answer, Karen?
Oh, my side answer for the movie?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Just one more thing with the foreign league players coming in.
Yes.
That should just be an absolute no. Start watching the shows on TV, and maybe they'll just stick with American players who work hard, training. But my side was A Walk to Remember with Mandy Moore. Did you see that movie?
I did not see it. What's the scene, though? Tell us the scene because other people will.
Okay, it's the scene where Mandy Moore is a high school student dying of cancer, and she met a fella who, wasn't really her usual type, but her dream was to be in two places at one time. And he took her to, I believe it was like the Oregon and California, where you could have one foot, you straddle the line, and you're in two places at one time.
I know where you're to four places, 4 states.
Okay. So it's just simple.
Very
Simplicity,
good.
Joy.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you very much. Yeah, what is it you can remember? Is it Utah, Colorado, Arizona, New Mexico? I've seen Breaking Bad enough. They did several there. Here's a guy who could have been a character out of Breaking Bad. Let's go to Robert in Ben Salem. Hey, Robert, afternoon.
Hey, Dom, it's good to talk to you today.
Same here.
Before I get to the side answer, I wanted to flesh out this issue that we're talking about with Vivek and Elon.
Yes.
They messed up in their messaging in that they didn't tie it to the problems that we're having with the education system, which are many. I agree with you that there are enough Americans to do these jobs, that we are extremely talented. But if we were to improve our education system, I don't believe these visas would ever be an issue. Now, I'm not saying it's a fix-all to just say that, but if you frame the debate in a lot of our schools are not properly preparing American kids, I think it would have gone a lot further than saying you're having too many sleepovers. Okay, that was
here's my point on that. That's true, but the peg is they're trying to undercut and tell us we need these people at the upper levels. My contention is, no, we don't. Americans are still the America that you and I know in certain levels, certain families, etc. Yes, at certain rungs of it, it's horrible, but that's not stopping America from churning along at the best in the world.
That's true, and I agree with you, but it could not hurt, because our education system was, I think, third or fourth in the world, right. And then they put in the NEA, and now we're like 37th in the world. And you can argue whether it's deliberate or not, or whether they're under-preparing our kids, but the fact of the matter is that many of them are falling down on the job. And if I think it would light a fire under the people who run our education, like the unions, if the American people were to hear we're underprepared here, not because Americans have a problem, our education system has a problem. And if they had framed it like that, I think we'd be having a much different conversation about it now.
We're in complete agreement. Nobody says that more than I do. You're exactly right. I just think, though, they're looking at this at employment, not at the certain levels, but at the very top. And their argument is transparent. It doesn't wash.
Well, you have a great show on Saturday, and I think if more people were to listen to it, that would improve the education system, at least in Philadelphia.
Thank you.
No problem. I'm going to go a little obscure with my side answer. It's from the movie High Plains Drifter, Clint Eastwood movie.
And
it's the scene after he appropriates the hotel owner's hotel and his wife. And the next morning, the wife sits up in the bed, and as he's getting dressed, and says, "Be careful, because you frighten people, and that's dangerous." And Clint Eastwood looks at her and says, "It's not me that scares them. It's what they know about themselves deep inside that scares them." And I thought that was an amazing line. You guys have a great weekend.
Thank you,
all
Robert,
right?
as always. That is a High Plains Drifter. I have not seen the whole film, but I know that scene. All right, 855-839-1210. You can get on board. We have approximately about 9 minutes left before the gong stops, and we have the big vote. Man, 380 votes this time around. Still an opportunity at Dom Show 1210 to vote for Scott in Mount Laurel, Joe in Columbus. At Dom Show 1210, go there now, cast your vote to one of our most esteemed honors, the Caller of the Year. We have that going on. Let me tell you, though, for a moment, about Dr. Bentz. Now, I've told you for years about Dr. Bentz, and I've talked about all manner of things with Dr. Bentz, including the fact that I've been a patient with Dr. Bentz 10 years. His expertise, first of all, he has the great hands as a dentist, great sense of comfort for the patient, great technical skills, so much so he lectures all over the place. But early on, even with all that, he had great technology. He was a big believer. This is going back 10 years. And now he has diagnostic tools that are second to none. We told you about the 3D printer, your teeth, the ability to get consistent, predictable results. He's got John, a great artisan who works with it. He checks it out during breaks from patients or lunchtime. Nothing gets sent outside. It's all right there. That's a big advantage. But the diagnostic part is the part that really intrigues. I mean, Dr. Bentz recently found something with a patient that was really serious that other dentists had missed. Dentists routinely send people to him for the more complex cases. This is the type of treatment that you want, and you will get with the Bentz Dental Center. Say it with a smile. Get a call in today. They are there now, 2 o'clock on the day. Yeah, they're there. Make your appointment. You want to go into January? That's fine. Make it later in January. Get started knowing you're going to get the dental care that I get. You're going to avoid trouble. If anything, wear and tear comes up, you're getting the best oral care that you can get. And if it's something complex right now you've been sitting on, don't sit on it any longer. Call 610-272-6949. The Bentz Dental Center, 610-272-6949.
Crash-proof consumers enter the new year worry-free because their portfolios are earning double-digit interest returns with none of the downsides of investing in the market.
Roseanne Fitzgerald, Upper Darby, Pennsylvania. Going into 2025 with Crash Proof, we earn 20% interest, which is credited. What we've earned can never be taken away.
Marilyn Becker's, Malvern, Pennsylvania. The 13% and 20% returns we received this year gets added to the principal. There's no fees, and you can sleep at night. You can't get that on Wall Street.
Paul Wirtz. I'm from Philadelphia. I earned 24% this year. No matter what happens in the future, this year or next year, I know that my principal is protected, my retirement is secure.
Schedule an appointment or register for our next event at the Copperfield Inn, January 22nd, 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Attention Medicaid patients.
If you're on Medicaid, how would you like if your caretaker was your daughter, your son, your grandchild, or your close friend? If you're on Medicaid, Freedom Care allows you to choose who provides your care, and that caregiver will get paid instantly after their shift. Yes, your caregiver will get paid instantly, and it's 100% free to you if you are on Medicaid. Call 267-692-3782 and ask Freedom Care how to get started with care today. No more worrying about getting care from an aide at an agency. Freedom Care helps you choose who you want to take care of you, and that person gets paid. Call Freedom Care at 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782 to get started today. You get a caregiver you know and trust, and they get paid instantly after their shift, and it's free to you. Start now by calling 267-692-3782, 267-692-3782, or go to freedomcare.com.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121, 800-329-2121.
Be sure to follow Talk Radio 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
All right, it is Dom time, 855-839-1210, AT&T, and Verizon Wireless. All we have to do is push pound 1210. Coming up, we'll be on the other side of the 2 o'clock hour. I'll have the results in what has been a thrilling contest, the caller of the year. All right, then we'll go on from there. We've been talking about something staggering here today. You can say the billionaire class, particularly in the person of this AI guy. Look, I don't trust this guy with AI. I want somebody with AI that doesn't see this, this golden future of AI. I want somebody who our policy is going to be, we're going to deal with this, and it might be able to enhance here and there, but we're also worried. So I'll ask you into the next hour. I was on Inside Story today. You'll see it on Sunday at 11:30. Are you joyous with the possibilities of AI, or are you more like me that you want this to be very, very controlled as much as possible for the obvious reasons of what can happen here? And the guy that Trump put in for AI has really undercut this, given his position that started all this stuff on why we need all these geniuses from foreign countries to come here. I'm putting geniuses in quotes. I'm a suspect that would he have the sensibility I want toward AI? And you got any number of guys like Bill Gates running around out there for climate control wanting to dampen the sun. Did you know that? That ought to be looked at. That guy shouldn't be running around with maybe the resources to try to fool around with stuff. That's what I worry about, and I do worry about AI. I don't see this magical upside of it versus the obvious downside of it. All right, here's how you get in again. 855-839-1210 will give you the winner of the Caller of the Year contest and take all of your calls and get a winner today, too. And Vivek Ramaswamy, this big issue, all that on Talk Radio 1210.
Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10.
Luigi's not getting any Swedish fish in the joint. Luigi has for breakfast a choice of fruits, grits, bread, eggs, and coffee.
We have to remember, as these dummies on News Nation are like, hi, everybody, there's a person dead. It's, again, this idol worship. Do you guys see him? Is he watching? Like, they're giddy schoolgirls. Ugh.
Goes back to the big take this morning, the violence of the left, the irrelevance of the media.
Start your day with Kale and Company, weekday mornings, 6 till 10 on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
As America's first superhighway, the PA Turnpike has driven innovation by drilling tunnels through mountains, building bridges over valleys, and expanding lanes for 500,000 customers daily. Today, the PA Turnpike is driven to make your trip easier than ever. Open road tolling eliminates the stop and go of traditional tolling, increases safety, and reduces environmental impact. Plus, have even more confidence that you'll arrive on time. Visit paturnpike.com/ORT.
Local news can come at you fast. Want the latest on what's happening in your backyard? Download the free Odyssey app. Follow your local news station, and you'll get alerts on the top stories making headlines in your city. You can stay in the know, no matter what you're up to, and be among the first to find out when news breaks. Plus, keep tabs on weather and traffic, so you're never caught off guard. To get started, download the Odyssey app. That's AUDACY, and follow your local news station.
On Philadelphia's Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app. It's Dom time. Now, Dom Giordano.
All right, it is Dom time. We've had just such tremendous fun with the community of callers that we have, the regular callers. You can become one of them in 2025. We certainly encourage that. Particularly, they call in on the side question and a whole array of things. So our Caller of the Year contest, we started with 12 people. And Joe of Columbus was somebody new to the list this year, the expanded list, I think with 2 or 3 others. And he went through a gauntlet of great callers, and he beat them soundly to get to the finale. But the results are in, and the 2024 Caller of the Year is Scott in Mount Laurel, 65.4% of the vote. Joe in Columbus, 34.6%. 381 votes. It was enormous. Now, we had the original, and what happened before the deadline, before the polling would be over, we had a Twitter meltdown. Joe of Columbus was ahead by 4 votes at that point, but Scott's outside that margin today. So Scott is the 2024 Caller of the Year. All right, after Earl of Tacony in 2023, we look forward to great stuff in 2025 around all this. All right, so we started off, among other things today, with talking about just where we're set up to go now with President Trump. And out of this whole thing came this new AI guy that he just appointed in the last day or two. The point person on AI, apparently a brilliant technical guy, etc. And the guy starts up that we need more people, the HB1 visas, okay? Vivek Ramaswamy then on Twitter said the reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over Native Americans isn't because of an innate American IQ deficit and lazy and wrong explanation. A key part of it comes down to the E word, culture. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s and way longer. Now, the backlash then did start. He went on to say that we need to have more STEM people and fewer prom queens and quarterbacks, etc. And the people that fired away at him are the son of former Trump advisor Michael Flynn Jr. The level of arrogance in his post is quite something. Others said, do I really need to start listing American inventors to prove the opposite? And my point is clearly that this is over the top. Elon Musk jumped in and start trying to liken it to the NBA plucking some foreign basketball players from Europe, principally. And then you heard Kathy Barnett talk about this is the first round here with the billionaire class in with the Maga people. And again, the tenet of Trump, the magic in 2016, was going to these tank towns that globalism had decimated. NAFTA, all these trade agreements only benefited certain Americans. You hear now Democrats saying, Americans will not we will not survive if we start deporting these people. Americans won't do these jobs. That type of stuff. Now, essentially, it's that we can't do these jobs, at least on the level of all these people we're bringing in with HB-12 visas. Well, I played you the guy who got knocked out at Disney. It was a famous story of all these people who were IT people, not at the world-class level, but very good. And they just kicked them out because they brought in people that were willing to work for a lot less, that were maybe equally capable. Do you say, oh, well, what? The essence, America first, is American workers first. Democrats didn't get that. They still don't get that. Joe Biden doesn't get it even. And I thought we fought that and won it. But there is a disconnect here, an unholy, uneasy alliance with some of these billionaires who are on the other side of this. And the pushback has been incredible today. But I still have not seen Vivek clarify, apologize, call it what you will, and get back into his lane. And I'm maintaining, no one's called and told me otherwise today, that's exactly what should happen. And again, if they don't, they're outside that lane, well then the media is waiting for this because they're trying to put all these hurdles in the way of actually downsizing government big time, which is what Elon Musk and Vivek should be very skilled at. Isn't that the whole plot? Stay out of this type of stuff. And this guy that Trump put in charge of artificial intelligence, I'd be taking a look at this guy even more now. I will. No, I resent all this stuff. I do. I resent it. You should too. We're tired of hearing this about Americans. This idea that we need these people from outside the country, otherwise this country's going to collapse because we're too lazy. That's Democrats all the time, even though they're the ones with the social welfare programs that hurt us. And now over here, we're not smart enough. And we're not as good in sports. Of course we are in sports. We dominate. We dominate all these things. There is no doubt. How could you not believe that? How could you not see that? Why are they playing with this stuff? Some of it's arrogance. Some of it is they want to lower cost. We're not going to lower cost off the backs of Americans. That's not the way that it's going to work. And America is not going to collapse if we start taking people out that are here illegally. All right, let's go to Dave in Oak Lynn, and Dave's on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Dave, afternoon to you.
Hey, Dom, how you doing today?
Good, Dave.
Yeah, it's mostly about the educational system in this country. You know, these kids, they go to, they go to college and they take philosophy. Like, you can't get a job in philosophy.
Well, wait a minute, though. But those are some people. You don't see the number of people that we have that are brilliant that are actually running America?
Oh, yeah. Okay. I have a friend of mine who's got like 20 patents, pharmaceutical patents.
Right. Well, those other people may be mediocre. That's all true, but they don't count in the end as far as what we're talking about here.
It's all about working hard, studying hard. You have to work to your 100% every minute of the day.
Well, all true, but that's not what's being debated. These people are doing this, these billionaires, because they don't want to pay people.
Yeah, they want the cheap labor.
Yes.
You know, listen, I worked at Johnson & Johnson, right? And I was talking to a janitor that was there for 50 years. And he said, he was the head of the janitors. And he said the CEO, the founder of Johnson & Johnson used to come in with a fake badge and go around and with a white glove. And if he found a speck of dirt, he would have 28 janitors cleaning that area at once. They had 28 janitors on duty at all times. After he died, it went down to 2. It's all about the bottom line and the stock. That's all they care about, these people.
Exactly. Dave, what's your film? What's your scene? What's your film?
My side question? Well, it's a little controversial, but it's a Mel Brooks movie called Blazing Saddles. Everybody's seen it.
Yep.
It's one of the funniest movies ever. So at the part when they have to build the fake town to get the bad guys to go to the wrong town, Cleavon Little, the sheriff goes to the workers, the railroad workers, and brings them there, and they agree to help build it if they get to live there. And and they said, we'll take the N-word and the.
All right. Okay. 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. You just push pound 1210. Thank you. Look, we're dealing here very specifically, though. When I read Vivek's comments in the beginning, I thought he was talking about how, in significant numbers, the American family's broken down, wrong points of emphasis, versus other families who emphasize stuff like getting ahead, STEM, and all the rest of it. And I'm in agreement until I see where this is going. And that is, to me, here is a woman I've had on the show who's really a Republican who gets it about the working class and bringing them into the Republican Party. What she says about Vivek's comments, what's so infuriating about this is that our economy is already a massive upward transfer of wealth from people who work with their hands for a living to the rich, successful mediocrities in the knowledge industry. Yet Vivek is blaming the losers of this intentional scheme for being the problem, among other things that are there. Okay, so this has to be ironed out. This is clearly outside the family business, outside the lane, and causing a good deal of grief today. By the way, as predicted, we don't see the drone story dominating anymore. Did they go away? Politico's got a big piece. It's a drone, it's a plane, it's the New Jersey governor's race. So when we get to that race, how are the 10 people that are already in the race going to pose what the whole drone thing has been about, and I still think is about? Well, some of them are going to demand more federal money, more studying, more stuff they have to send here. What happened to all this? And the answer is it's still there until Trump takes office, as I've been saying. You're not going to see a resolution of this. We don't hear about as many sightings. I'm not sure people distracted by the holidays, maybe, if that's the case. Other than that, it still seems to be in the same place. And I know people get tired of it. We tire of the story, but it's infuriating that we have this issue and we sit here frozen, unable to shoot these down and or follow them in some manner, shape, or form. All right, one other thing. The Inquirer today has one of their first articles claiming that Democrats are proclaiming their faith. You see where this is going? This is part of the action to say we're not going to let Republicans have patriotism and God. So who do they lead with? Well, they lead with Josh Shapiro. They lead with Josh Shapiro proclaiming his faith and how he's been so successful showing you can proclaim his faith. Oh, wait a minute here. Josh Shapiro has not been that successful. He couldn't be the VP choice because we know his faith, and the mob in the Democrat Party doesn't want anyone with that faith in support of Israel and against anti-Semitism. They don't want him anywhere near that kind of power. So watch for this. You'll see Democrat after Democrat featured now. A, their patriotism. B, their religion. because they realize that the average American sniffed this stuff out in the last election cycle, and they know that you're not going to rise in the Democrat Party if you proclaim these things on a regular basis. Again and again and again, we've seen it play out. And his religion was the reason he wasn't the VP choice. They put a clown in there. Also, maybe they were afraid he would outshine Kamala Harris. Always a possibility, always easy to do. Waltz didn't. Tells you how bad he is. All right, phone lines. 855-839-1210. AT&T and Verizon Wireless, just push pound 1210. Coming up, we near the end of the year. I always like to tell you, what are Americans naming their kids in 2024? I have the list. What do you think might be the number one girl's name? Number one boy's name? I have not run into anybody with the number one boy's name in forever. It's not an everyday thing that I run into most of these people, these names given. All right? And it's some of them, yeah. But what happened to those mainstay names are not in here. All right? This is completely different. 855-839-1210. Jump in, get your name into the hat for the end of the week. As I said, Scott of Mount Laurel is the caller of the year 2024. And congratulations, and we'll have more once we get back past the new year. 855-839-1210.
Your Penn State Nittany Lions are heading to the Fiesta Bowl on New Year's Eve.
Touchdown, Penn State! The Nittany Lions respond!
Penn State's postseason continues, advancing to the CFP quarterfinal to face Boise State.
He's close, he's there, touchdown, Penn State!
Catch all the action New Year's Eve starting at 7 p.m.
I'll drive into the end zone for a touchdown.
Here on your home for Penn State football. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and on the free Odyssey app.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
First time seeing my son, I feel like my life did a 180. He really a definition of like why he loves somebody.
Through all the fatherhood's first, never stop being a dad. Visit fatherhood.gov to hear more. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
You know, as they say, one person's personal information is another person's treasure.
Exactly. That's why I use NordVPN every time I surf the web. Features like Threat Protection Pro's safeguard devices from phishing websites and disable intrusive ads and trackers. Just check NordVPN.com, grab the deal, and see for yourself. NordVPN. Cybersecurity built for every day.
At Independence Blue Cross, we take care of the people who take care of you. Everyday heroes like firefighters, police officers, teachers, farmers, and healthcare workers. Doctors and hospitals across the region have IBX, and they know what it means to have reliable access to care. So whether you're saving lives or just trying to live a healthier life, count on IBX, the region's #1 health insurer for 85 years. Learn more at IBX.com.
As a business owner, you wear a lot of hats. One minute you're ordering today's inventory, and the next you're planning tomorrow's expansion. It's complicated, but your business credit card should be simple. With the Signify Business Cash Card by Wells Fargo, you earn unlimited 2% cash rewards on purchases for your business with no caps or categories to track. Signify Business Cash, the deliberately simple business credit card. Learn more at wellsfargo.com/signify. Terms apply.
Progressive Insurance. Looking for a career path with flexibility and great pay and benefits? Go to progressive.com/careers and apply online today.
Free speech lives here.
The Dom Giordano program.
On Talk Radio 1210 WPHT and the free Odyssey app.
All right, it is Dom. Welcome in, everyone. Thanks so much for being part of it all year long. Got the side question going on, 855-839-1210. Also, we're coming up, and I'll do it on Monday and also Tuesday, the day before New Year's Eve. And you will hit us. This is the time of year now, post-Christmas, where people might slow down a little bit, have a chance to binge watch something. If you have something that you would recommend, do us an all solid. Throw it in. I may watch it, report on it. Let us know. I would tell you The Diplomat, only 2 seasons. I think it was 7 and 7. 7 episodes. Carrie Russell plays a U.S. ambassador who they're grooming to be the VP choice. Have her go to Great Britain. Her husband is a bigger time ambassador, real ambassadors. And some of the stuff that happens there vis-a-vis with the Russians, etc. And it is well acted, well written, just not enough of it. 7 and 7. But I would tell you, you'll enjoy it. I think you'll recognize most of the actors. They've been in a lot of stuff. But if you have one, you can always hit us. Hit me on Twitter with one at DomShow1210. You can do that also. Hey, I mentioned earlier, Cherry Hill Mall yesterday, they do this the day after Christmas. They enforced their rule, if you're under 18, you have to be with a parent. Because in 2017, on December 26th that year, there was this big disturbances where nearly 1,000 juveniles swarmed the mall. The policy has been in effect since 2018 and has been successful in keeping our visitors secure and environment welcoming, they said. One kid said, yeah, there's a lot of security guards here. This policy, well, wait a minute. Yeah, it's 18. From 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., the supervisor must be over 21 years old and provide proof of their age. So they don't do this universally. They do it sporadically when their spidey sense tells them that something could be happening here. Watch for that. I'll tell you, and next week, even in more detail, some of the big stories in 2025. Of course, the governor's race over in New Jersey. And again, it's just finding the right Republican. It is there for the taking. And Scott Presler, who's on every Monday at 2 o'clock, ad infinitum, on Twitter, his parents, his mom's a quilter. You got to, if you're on his Twitter, The Persistence, you'll see it. Quilted him in like Revolutionary War gear, ready to go off to battle in New Jersey. And he is gearing up. I'm trying to work with him on some stuff big time to take back New Jersey. The story in Philadelphia is, look, Sherelle Parker has done reasonably well the first year, but moving forward on Kensington and all the rest of it, you know what the problem is? Krasner. And one of the big stories here locally is if the opponents of Krasner unite behind one of 2 people that I know of, just one, not 2, they have a reasonable chance of beating Krasner, who definitely I think is going to run again. So it's just a question of which one of these candidates, just like it is the question of which Republican can carry it home. If I had to guess, the people that I know that I brought on, they seem to be favoring Chitterelli. But I don't know. I know with listeners there's hesitance seeing him as someone who was not pro-Trump, et cetera, et cetera. Even though he's turned on that before the election. So we'll see. I would peg it quite a horse race between him and Bill Spadea. Which one in Jersey? I think the mistake you got to watch for is if you think Spadea is more Trumpian, okay, just realize there's only one Trump. We've seen people try to replicate Trump, and it's undoable because what makes him is just the secret sauce. You know, it's a very hard thing to just break the essence down, put it into a test tube and say, this guy or this woman, they're just like Trump. And he did remarkably well in New Jersey. Can either of these guys do remarkably? Yes, I think it's solid. It's there. They're hungering for change. The question is, though, Spadea on the surface is more conservative, track record, etc., although he's been anti-Trump at times. Chitterelli came relatively close to Phil Murphy, has name recognition and other things. So this is going to be, you'll see right after we get into the new year, this is going to be heavily fought. until we get to the primary in June. And then we'll be at the shore, Mulligan's and other places, and Scott Presler will be working his magic. All right, hit us with that film. Hit us with that scene that you really like, and you might even do part of it. 855-839-1210. Craig in Maryland. Hey, Craig, good afternoon. What do you have today?
Hey, Dom, how are you?
Good.
Well, the movie I have is another Clint Eastwood movie, The Outlaw Josie Wales.
Oh, sure.
And the scene, let's put it this way. We used to do a thing. I worked at a time as a surveyor. We were on this one job where another guy and I did were flag, traffic. So we had walkie-talkies, and we spent the day quoting Josie Wales quotes. But anyway, the scene was when the Comanches took a couple of the settlers, and Clint rides out to talk to Ten Bears and says, I'll give you this. And he goes, we don't have anything to give you. You don't have anything to give us. But we have life, and men like us know that, to kill is easy, living's hard. And they agreed to, and then in the end, they worked together in a separate thing. But there's just that scene. And I had went back and found a copy of the book because it was based on a book, and Clint Eastwood had wrote the foreword in this later edition, and he did the movie after reading the book. He fought real hard. They fought him to get that movie made because of that scene. He said he wanted to put that scene on TV. Or
that's a great insight, because it's often one thing, and it could be a fairly long scene or even very short. It encapsulates that, Craig. That's a great example. You're in the running. Thank you, Craig. Of course, I left it off. I took The Exorcist, but I thought somebody was going to come in, and the scene from A Few Good Men. I don't know that I like any scene better than that. If it's on, I'm stopping. I'm not doing anything till I see it. And it's not the line about the, you can't handle the truth. No. It's about ordering the code red when Nicholson explodes with that. That's the line that gets me in it. And I got to say, as much as I despise Tom Cruise in a lot of ways for a lot of reasons, he is excellent in that role of goading him along. No doubt. That's a good one, though. That scene, The Outlaw Josie Wales, and Eastwood getting it. Just think of how many scenes we would say Eastwood, particularly as Dirty Harry, that you can encapsulate the scene as something that's just unforgettable, carries the whole film. And there are any number with that cat. It's hard to imagine a greater cool character than Eastwood in the Dirty Harry series. I mean, just amazing stuff. Okay, coming up, we'll take more of your calls, 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All that you have to do is just push pound 1210 and you get on board. Hey, I mentioned this the other day too. We get to the end of the year, people are looking in this Vivek stuff with kids for something that can be done. This idea of a push to mandate age verification on social media. National Review had a big piece. It's a policy unlikely to protect children and all but assured to endanger the data privacy of users of all ages and to violate the First Amendment. Now, the difference between that and TikTok is the control of the Communist Chinese Party and the damage they're doing, and that's what their principal goal is with TikTok. But as far as checking the age of kids, the point is, in doing this, you're going to see data privacy, you're going to see all these things go down. And again, it's a tough road for parents, but parents are the ultimate ones that have to deal with this saturation of social media. Seeing Zuckerberg or anybody else come to the rescue, I don't think is going to be happening anytime soon. Trying to give parents aid on this, the best ways to do it, etc., that's something, but that's what it comes down to in the very end. It comes down to parenting. All right, I'll take more of your calls. We'll get a winner, then we'll put them all into the hat, and we'll get the winner of the week. But holiday parties, New Year's Eve, getting ready this weekend, right? And I'm talking about planning for that with Captain Chucky's. That's whether you're hosting something or you're going somewhere. Bring some great Captain Chucky's. People love it. Now, we all know that Captain Chucky's is known for their fantastic crab cakes, wild-caught Gulf shrimp, and their soups. But Captain Chucky's now has been teaming up with some well-known family-owned businesses in our area with great products. Captain Chucky's and Marciano's Bakery of Philadelphia, they have launched their newest invention, the Bang Bang Crab Cake and Cheese Specialty Bread. It's available exclusively for now at most Captain Chucky's locations. They also have the Taste of Philly section in most stores. They carry the following great family products across the areas. Stock's Pound Cakes. I mean, who doesn't know them? They have Marciano's Specialty Breads, pierogies from the Pierogi Kitchen of Roxborough. They have Chef Matt's Key Lime Pies, Derby's Philly Famous Clams Casino, and also Vera Pasta Company of Westchester. They produce Captain Chucky's line of pasta, including their 3 different raviolis, their own lobster, bangin' crab, and shrimp scampi ravioli, and their own jarred blush sauce. Check your Chucky's for availability. And with the holidays fast approaching, come on now. I had the Dom roll the other night at our Christmas dinner. Oh, delicious as ever. You got to get the Dom roll. And the way to do that, there has to be a location near you. Just visit WeLoveCrabCakes.com, WeLoveCrabCakes.com. And if you're headed to the Jersey Shore, well, visit Captain Chucky's at theshore.com. One more thing to remind you of, too. I mentioned the other day, and I love doing this, Captain Chucky's out with his own kids' book, Captain Krabby's Castle of Friendship and Love. And I told you all the wonderful characters in here, all devoted from the sea, the Captain Krabby, the Wally Whale, the Ollie Octopus, all coming together, beautifully illustrated with Captain Chucky's to get to the idea of friendship and love. And all proceeds go to Shriners Hospital. This is a home run on top of a home run. The thing to do is get these books, and I was in Flowertown the other day. They have it at any Captain Chucky's. It's Captain Krabby's Castle of Friendship and Love.
Weather sponsored by Winter Ford.
36 overnight, cloudy sky, maybe some rain too. Tomorrow, a high of 50, rain definitely in the forecast. Sunday, in Philadelphia, we could get up to 64 with more showers. Monday, still unseasonably warm, high 57, some showers in the morning and some sun later on.
The Winter Ford Cherry Hill Get Holiday Ready sales event. See Dino Rucci and his team for discounts and rebates up to $10,000 on new Fords. Call 800-428-4000 for details. Check your savings at winterford.com.
Hi, it's John DeMasi, host of Health Watch, a live call-in show airing every Sunday morning at 8 a.m. on WPHT. What would you do to protect yourself this cold and flu season? Well, medical hydration therapy at Innovative Medical Associates could help to boost your immune system. That's because vitamin C and other key nutrients are delivered intravenously right to your cells. Medical hydration therapy may even lessen symptoms should you become ill with a virus or suffer with long COVID or post-COVID conditions. Dr. Molly Fantasia at Innovative Medical Associates prescribes a personalized treatment plan for every patient.
We are a medical facility. We treat our IV protocols or our hydration protocols as a medical modality.
Learn more about the benefits of medical hydration therapy at innovativemedicalassociates.com. And be sure to join Dr. Molly and me on Sunday mornings at 8 and again at 4 for Health Watch on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call, and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121. 800-329-2121.
Talk Radio 1210 WPHT, broadcasting from the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter.
All right, downtime, 855-839-1210, AT&T and Verizon Wireless. All you need to do is just push pound 1210 and you get in. Hey, just another sign that President Trump, it's working already. The Massachusetts governor, of all people, now claims that Massachusetts is not a sanctuary state. My God. It was one of the states first in line to declare, yes, indeed, we are a sanctuary state. Now, as I understand it, on inaugural day, they are going to go into Chicago, and that's the belly of the beast. And it's going to get people cheering them there, saying, it's about time. We're overrun with this. Governor Abbott, people sent there, and the mayor just continues to fund this to the detriment of Chicagoans. That's the logical place to start, and that is what you're going to see. Hey, I teased this and mentioned this. Maybe no surprises here. The 2024 Baby Center, or the Social Security Center, says, here are the top 10 names for girls. Olivia is still number one. Yeah, occasionally in Olivia. Amelia, Emma, Sophia, Charlotte, Isabella, Ava, Maya, Ellie, and Luna. Luna's a cute name, but I haven't run into any Lunas. Usually I thought that was more the dog name. Among the boys, and I have not run into a Noah, at least that I remember in the last 10 years. Noah, Liam, Oliver, Elijah, Mateo, Lucas, Levi, Ezra, Asher, and Leo. Henry was somewhere in here, or Henry in the top 20. The full name, not Hank, as he's sometimes called. All right, so that name, not much change from 2023. And names that I haven't seen is Donald moved up. I don't know if we're going to see that many more JDs or Elons. I don't see that on the list exactly yet. But these things are cyclical. This has been a long secular time of these names that, are relatively avant-garde. Washington Free Beacon is a very conservative expose. We often cite them, have them on. Guess who they named as their person of the year? The Washington Free Beacon 2024 Man of the Year is Scott Jennings. Now, we've had Scott Jennings on the show. You can't get enough of Scott Jennings. I know he's on CNN, but that's the charm of it. Anybody can go on Fox and say whatever they want. He's got, like, the Christians Against the Lions here of just any number of people they bring on, 3 or 4 at a time, firing away at him. And he's on, he doesn't have the home court advantage, and he's able to dispatch with them very easily. Here is Scott Jennings, Sean. Here's Scott Jennings talking about Vivek Ramaswamy and the story we've been talking about all afternoon long.
Sounds a little embittered, maybe. Is it American culture that's the problem?
Somebody got stuffed in a locker. I'm not going to say who. Look, I think there's a way to solve this and talk about this that doesn't denigrate all of American culture. I mean, I'm now understanding more and more how he got 100 votes in Iowa or whatever it was he got during the Iowa caucus. The reality is, and Elon, by the way, clarified or further explained his position later and was talking about saying, I want to bring in the top 0.1% of engineering talent from around the world. It's like bringing in a Jokic or a Wembyana to help your whole team if you want to make a comparison to the NBA. So I think we can bring in the absolute top talent from around the world and at the same time not insult the rest of the United States of America and our culture and the way we do things here, and also lift up the American students who have the talent and who have the interest and put them in the right educational opportunities. I think what he did today was to overtalk it. A lot of MAGA people are not happy. A lot of Republicans are not happy. And This is why Donald Trump's in the Oval Office, and he's
saying
a
something
volunteer.
that a lot of people apparently believe, that it's about like the jocks being celebrated, the football stars being celebrated, and not the nerds.
Yeah, this stuff that Vivek, with the nerds not being celebrated and all the rest of it. Really, first of all, I object that America does have people at the upper end, the very highest peak of this stuff. Now, do they have somebody that they think is the top 0.111%, whatever Elon Musk said? Okay, limited numbers. We should be dealing with extremely limited numbers. We need this guy and all that. But then they start to tell it what it's really all about. They either A, don't want to pay Americans, or B, they just want to dismiss Americans. You know, we're not a nerd culture enough here. Too much football and all that. Really? Is that really the problem? The problem is this. We have people who are in families and their kids are pushing themselves and are going to be brilliant and really succeed in the world. Then we have other families that are not doing that. They're mediocre at best or worse. That's what the issue is. And we're having significant numbers of families of the latter that are not so good. We can talk about that. But telling us we don't still have the best and the brightest in the world is just crazy talk. It really is. And using the basketball analogy, that's something I know a lot about. Are you going to tell me that some of the people cited by Elon Musk, I don't have 10 American players that are on their level? You got to be kidding me. It's a joke. Stop it already. Stop denigrating, insulting America. If you say, I just have to have this guy, all right, we're willing to listen. We want talent too. But there's a sense of entitlement here with some of these billionaires around Trump. One is particular, the guy that's setting up the AI thing that we're talking about. He triggered a lot of this. And it's out there in the open now. And I thought by now Vivek Ramaswamy would apologize for this and say it was not artful. Here's exactly what I mean. And I'm with President Trump of America First. He's attacked the culture of America a lot. And you know what? He sometimes gets cheers because the people cheering are saying, that's not me. It's those people over there. Well, I'd watch it because he seems to think most of America is this way. And most of America is not this way. Aren't you in agreement with that? Or do you want to say you're just part of this small sliver, maybe 1%? It's perfect. And the rest, the 99%. Now, this is a cardinal sin. The people that are MAGA are often looked down upon educationally, etc., by the Democrats, by progressives, by the media. I don't think people internally ought to be mocking the very same people who have their hopes and aspirations tied toward them revitalizing America that they went out of their way to support in manners that were incredible. Do you think we should be denigrating them? No, I don't think so. All right, let's go to Gary in Newtown. Gary, you're in on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Gary, good afternoon.
Hey, Don, belated Merry Christmas, sir.
Thank you, Gary. Same to you.
I'm going to offer a couple of things. One is a PSA. For all of those folks that want to go get Captain Chucky's shrimp, please put your order in now if you want to get it for New Year's, because by when you get there on New Year's Day, it's going to be gone. Trust me, I know. It happened to me.
Okay, well, it's always good to order early, particularly with Captain
Order
Chucky.
early,
Yeah, do
get
it
it
right
early.
now. Sure. Yep, absolutely.
Okay, that's got that out of the way. So I'd like to kind of go back to your call with Robert from Ben Salem. You know, he's a friend of mine.
Yep.
And I'm going to boil down what I think I heard both of you saying without saying it. And I'm going to use John D. Rockefeller, who was probably one of the most modest men, poorest men maybe ever to have been born in America, and turned out to be the wealthiest man in America. Because why? Because he had an insatiated need of the cliche. The cliche, and I'd love to know that as a side question, the cliche would be necessity is the mother of invention. And if you're born poor, or if you're born needing something, you'll figure out how to get it. And what we've lost in this society of we're just going to give you marijuana, we're just going to give you welfare, is this: there's no need to be ingenuine to create something that's not there. So there is truth to what Vivek said. Could have said it better. Robert may have said it better. It's the education system, but we're passing people along rather than having the cream rise to the crop, the whole DEI thing.
Well, wait a minute, though. But he's talking about the people at the very top. They can't match these other people in the world. Let's be specific. I'll take the gloves off. I defy him to come on here and say that. That's ridiculous. We're better than the rest of the world at the top.
I didn't catch that facet. I didn't catch that.
Yeah,
point.
I mean, he was going off on this, but he was saying that's why these people are only mediocre in comparison to these geniuses at the top, technologically, STEM, etc. That's not true. We have thousands of Americans that are their equal, is what I'm saying, Gary.
I will flip to your side and say, no, that's not true. We're not finding the people that are at the top to get it done.
Right, and to your broader point about what's happened, though, to the education system in general, it's abysmal. The middle of American students are probably only in the top 40 or 35 in the world. We're way behind in the middle. Yeah.
So my favorite scene of all time is Charlie in Willy Wonka the Factory, when at the end of the movie, Gene Wilder, probably one of the best, second to Jack Nicholson saying "you can't handle the truth," to me, second to that one is when he basically sums it up and says, "You messed up the fizzy drinks, you did this, he went off on him just like Jack Nicholson, and then turns around and then after Charlie says, "Wait a second, I could have sold you out to was and he goes, "Charlie, you're my boy. You got everything. Not only did you win, you are the heir apparent of the entire corporation, the whole future."
Gotcha. It sounds like the prodigal son of sorts. All right, let me take one more and then the lightning round. Drew in Upper Darby. Drew, good afternoon.
Hey, Dom, thank you so much. You know, Dom, this movie with Jack Nicholson, R.P. McMurphy, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. Well, how that movie ends when the chief throws the sink through the window,
yes,
and runs into the woods, and the movie ends. But before that scene, Jack Nicholson tried that same maneuver with the sink, and he couldn't do it. And he says, "At least I tried. Gee, damn it! At least I did that." And then when the chief saw what they did to him with the lobotomy, the chief had it, man. He grabbed that sink and he threw it through there and he boogied on out of there.
I got to say,
Great
and
scene.
I think Louise Fletcher won the Academy Award for it. The fight scene when she comes back and, all the women are there, the guys and all that, and the two of them are choking each other. That
She got
scene,
the neck brace
oh,
on.
my God. Oh, it's unbelievable.
Whenever someone angers me, like a little Weasley type guy, I say to myself, man, I like to pull a nurse ratchet on him. You know what I mean? Oh, man. So
the Chief
that's
scene
good.
is a great one. The Chief scene is a great one.
Drew-
Thank you, Drew. Have a nice weekend. All right, the lightning round is next, and then we'll decide the winner, and then I'll pick the winner of the week. Letters to Trump is the book. That's the book that has all these serious and hilarious letters from some of the most famous people in the world to Trump prior to Trump running. I told you, Oprah says, "I weep. The thought of me as a VP, you as a presidential candidate." And then once Trump runs, the rest of the story. They're hilarious. Alec Baldwin talking about, "Thank you for comping us with 20 people and all." They are, literally the most famous people in the world over the last 30 or 40 years. Almost everyone's in there with a letter to Trump. That is extremely complimentary versus then the public statement you see of what they've said more recently. All right, here's how you get in on the lightning round. 855-839-1210.
Your weeknights are getting a whole lot better. With Jimmy Fallon, 7 to 10 p.m.
Back when I was a cab driver, trying to make my way in comedy and find some entree into television and radio and everything in between, I was writing articles, mocking sports culture and cancel culture and things like that. And they had booked me an interview on WPHT. They were the very first radio station to ever book me as a guest. We had a lot of laughs. So to be sitting here, 8 or 9 years later as a host in your lineup is obviously a really big deal to me personally.
Jimmy Fallon, now weeknights, 7 to 10 p.m. on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
There's a reason that potato chips don't come in a clear bag.
There's only 8 chips in this bag.
That's why. It's only about 2/3 full. The rest is air. It's a lot like opening up your 401k at retirement. You get about 2/3 of it, and the rest goes to Uncle Sam. Jim Cipriotti at the Retire Ready Financial Group can help. His tax mapping process can help forecast what your tax bill will be in the future. And that way, you can build a strategy now to potentially decrease your tax bill in retirement. In other words, more for you and less for Uncle Sam. Call today for your complimentary retirement tax mapping report, 610-894-7415. That's 610-894-7415. Or find them online at retirereadyfg.com. And get Uncle Sam's greedy hands out of your retirement.
Hey, you've had enough.
With a complimentary tax mapping report from Jim Cipriotti. Investment advisory services offered through Retire Ready Wealth Management, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through James V. Cipriotti, Retire Ready Financial Group, LLC. NPN number 2083768.
Trust and Will knows that we'll all eventually need a will. How about right now? Trust and Will makes creating your will easy, like while you're lounging on the couch easy. Trust and Will is designed by attorneys but customized by you, and all documents are state-specific and secure. Find your plan at trustandwill.com and use offer code RADIO now for 10% off. That's trustandwill.com, offer code RADIO. Trust and Will is an online estate planning service. Visit trustandwill.com for details.
Don't let cold season make you miserable. Try the quick, drug-free solution for nasal congestion, Navage. Navage uses gentle suction to flush out your sinuses with refreshing saline, helping you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier all winter long. And here's even better news. Navage is now available at select warehouse clubs in a great new value pack. It's everything you need to start breathing better fast. Check out Navage at your local retailer today. Navage, Navage, breathe easy.
Free speech lives here with Rich Zioli weekday afternoons 3 till 7 on Odyssey's #1 talk station, 1210 WPHT.
The time has come for the final test.
We usually call it the lightning round.
Yes, that's right. It is the lightning round. You get this every day if you're a new listener around this time, where you get to tell us the answer to the side question exclusively today. Coming off this scene that I've always thought was remarkable in The Exorcist, which debuted 51 years ago. Wow, that's hard to believe. Yesterday. And has just been a breakout horror. It is a horror film, but much different than most horror films. Hit us with that all-time scene. Give us a line or two. Maybe demonstrate a little bit. Had some really good ones today. Joe in Bordentown on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Joe, what's yours today?
Mine is the scene in the movie where the defeated slaves are told by the Roman soldiers that they will not be killed if they reveal their leader. Mm-hmm. And they, in unison, they holler, "I'm Spartacus."
Yes, I am Spartacus. Yeah, I think your senator, Cory Booker, said he was Spartacus, too, if you remember.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Thank you, Joe. That's a good one. John in Belmar, Talk Radio 1210. Hi, John.
Hi, Dom. Happy New Year, and I hope you had a nice Christmas.
We did. Thank you, John, very much.
You're welcome. I love this movie, and I actually got the chills at the end. The whole movie, you thought Bruce Willis was alive after he got shot, and the whole movie, he interacted with this kid, and when he realized at one point that he was like all the other people that the kid was seeing, and he turns around in the mirror and sees that the gunshot wound, he had blood all over his back, and that he was actually, he was dead, but didn't know he was dead. And when you finally realize it, and he realized it, it's like shocking. The scene that, yes, and unfortunately, M. Night Shyamalan never had another good one like that.
No, I would say that nothing anywhere near that. What's the other biggie? The Bucks County scene with the aliens. The twist isn't that worthy. You're right. That is the prime. Thank you. The Earl of Tacony with us on Talk Radio 1210. Hey, Earl, what's yours today?
Let me cut it short. I had a whole thing set up, but at the end of RoboCop 2, there's been a major massacre. Everyone's pushing blame. The CEO wants to know how could blame someone else? And he turns to the lawyer, and this is the line. The lawyer tells him, "Don't worry, sir. Whether the evidence exists or not, I'm sure we'll find
it." Yes, very good line. All right, so we have the winners now. Today, the call that impressed me, and this one was very early on and kind of a new caller, Brian, talking Colonel Ludlow, and he imitated some of it in Legends of the Fall. We had great callers, but Brian, he goes into the hat. So, Dan, away this week, let me give you each day. On Monday, we had all-time movie and TV prop, a movie prop mainly, Gary from Newtown, the red pill, blue pill from The Matrix. It was a great answer. Tuesday, the number 7, because I started talking on Christmas Eve about the Feast of the Seven Fishes, and Amadeo called in, and we had quite a debate over 7 fishes, and he gave us the number 7 virtues to counter my 7 deadly sins, and that was Tuesday. Wednesday, we were off for Christmas. Thursday, yesterday, all-time worst idea. The springboard for that was Joe Biden and Bidenomics. Scott of Mount Laurel, the living Constitution document, that the Constitution's a living document. No, it's not, buddy. It's what it says it is. Well, they didn't know about automatic weapons. Joe Biden all the time, right? Kevlar on the deer. God. So Scott is, and then today, Brian, legend, Colonel Ludlow, Legend of the Fall. And let me choose one here. And the winner this week is Tuesday, number 7, Amadeo, 7 virtues to counter my 7 deadly sins. Amadeo will be getting Letters to Trump, which, again, is a great book. And we had a lot of fun with that with Don Trump Jr. Hey, thanks to everyone for listening today as we round off this week. Thanks to Sean for producing. And I'll be back on Monday and Tuesday. And Tuesday is always fun, kind of looking back and making our prediction toward 2025, which I think is going to be. I know it's hard to imagine the excitement of what we've seen this year. But I would counter, we have a huge race in Jersey turning red, and we're turning Jersey red. We have President Trump and the disruptors that he's putting into play. Any one of them, particularly RFK Jr., is a huge story of consequence. And then we have the Trump years and stuff like buying Greenland and anything else. And where can all this end up? Well, I hope it ends up with you, the listeners, and that this is as good of a year as 2024 was, because we actually put into play the things that Trump ran on and people supported. That's why I'm so protective of this, mainly Vivek Ramaswamy, but mainly this AI guy that Trump just appointed, who wants hordes more of people to come in and take jobs for Americans. No, they're not better than us. Well, we say they are. Well, I say they're not. Prove it. Well, we are an animal. We don't have to pay them as much. Aha, isn't that what it is? And is there a bit of bias here toward a certain mentality? No, America's still the greatest country. It always has been, and hopefully it will always be that. We have enough people at that level, whatever it is, we are going to dominate. That's part of America. All right, have a great weekend, everyone. The Rich C Always Show's next. Follow on Twitter throughout the weekend at DomShow1210, at DomShow1210. All of that here on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT.
Weather sponsored by the Piazza Auto Group.
36 overnight. Cloudy sky, maybe some rain too. Tomorrow, a high of 50. Rain definitely in the forecast. Sunday, in Philadelphia, we could get up to 64 with more showers. Monday, still unseasonably warm. High 57. Some showers in the morning and some sun later on.
Celebrate the journey during the Mercedes-Benz Holiday Love Celebration. Discover exceptional offers on the vehicles you're bound to love this season. Schedule a test drive at Mercedes-Benz of Westchester, Wilmington, or Atlantic City today.
My name's Michaela. I joined the Army at 17. When I got back from Iraq a few years ago, I became pregnant and ended up homeless.
No veteran should ever face homelessness. The U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs is working hard to end veteran homelessness by the end of 2015. VA offers programs to help eligible veterans stay healthy, find a job, and secure or maintain safe, stable housing. With a simple call to 877-424-3838, specialists can connect veterans to the services and support they have earned, regardless of their branch or era of service.
My life works now. I got help from VA, and now I'm on a mission to share these resources.
VA is here to help. If you or a veteran you know is homeless or at immediate risk of becoming homeless, call 877-424-3838 or chat online at va.gov/homeless.
It is with great pleasure that I welcome you to today's graduation ceremony. Students, when you hear the reason or reasons for your absences throughout the years, please exit the auditorium without your high school diploma. Once you've exited, remove your cap and gown and proceed into the unknown. Too tired. Family trip. Part-time job. Helping around the house. Sick day.